Live from Death Ray Studios in the sunny West Valley of Phoenix, it's Late Night with the Davey. On the show tonight, we'll be covering horror movie news and Davey's recent first-time watch list. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Davey Death Ray. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Death Ray here. All right, there's the background that I wanted. How are you guys all doing out there? Welcome to another edition of Late Night with the Davey. And you know what? This is our second ever solo Late Night with the Davey episode. Unfortunately, we did have a guest all lined up. One of the biggest YouTubers out there that I watch, my very favorite sports YouTuber out there. Mentioned him a couple times here on the program. He's called That's Good Sports is the name of his channel. It's really great. If you're a big football fan, like, you've got to go follow Brandon Perna over at That's Good Sports. Probably a dumb idea on my part trying to get him here during the football season. So, we'll coordinate and find another time, whether or not it happens, before the Super Bowl or not. I'm not sure, but we'll keep on trying. And we should be back with, regular guests and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like we've had to reschedule a couple times. I know I missed the other week, but hey, guys, we are finally at the 26th episode of Late Night with the Davey, which is really cool because since there's 52 weeks in a year, that pretty much marks a good 6 months worth of episodes that we've got in the can for Late Night with the Davey, which is really damn cool. So thank you so much, everyone out there, for not only coming back time and time again and supporting the show here, but supporting the channel and also helping build the community to a place where I could do a weekly show like this. So really appreciate you guys so much. Want to say what's up to everyone in the chat before we get going. I'll probably do like a little bit of a channel sort of life update sort of thing after I say what's up to everyone, and then we can go through some horror movie news that I have pulled up here on Bloody Disgusting. I just went through their site and found a handful of articles that I think would be fun to talk about. There's a couple other things I suppose we could talk about while we get into there too. We sort of already hit on the whole Jamie Lee Curtis coming back to Halloween, so I don't think we really need to cover that. But I am interested in seeing, if is there any Scream news out there? I know that they pick a release date for Scream 7. I'm like, what's the site to go to see, to get all the scoops or the wannabe scoops on Scream 7. And then, after we're done with, horror movie news and all that fun stuff, we're going to jump into my recent first time watch list. I've got a handful of movies that I just recently watched. I finally watched it, for the very first time and wanted to just sort of chit chat with you guys about that. I think I don't hate doing reviews, guys. I'm having a lot of fun doing Tales from the Crypt because I want to watch all those episodes anyways. So it's really cool jumping in and doing those Tales from the Crypt reviews, and they're pretty damn easy, more often than not. But movie reviews, maybe, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. Is doing movie reviews in this kind of format where I just go live and do like a bunch of movies and talk about them all at once. Is that something that, interests you guys? But anyways, I'm going to say what's up to everybody here hanging out in the chat. We got Lamontre Gillard. What's happening, Lamontre? So great to see you. We got Necro Mechanimal. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Necro. We got Big Rod, one of our great channel members. How you doing, Rod? Also awesome to see you. And Gene Whitacombe. Hello, Gene. Hope you're having a great day so far. We've got Leanna. How you doing, Leanna? Saying what's up to everyone in the chat. Hope you're having a good week thus far, miss. And we got Brooke Scarlett. How are you doing, Brooke? I feel like maybe it's been just a minute since I've seen you, but probably just about a week or so. And I can't let it go by without acknowledging that Leanna is also one of our great channel members. We got Jamie Hart, original Death Squad mod and channel member. How you doing, Jamie? We got my guy Foz Rotten from Movie Punks hanging out with us tonight. How you doing, Foz? So great to see you. Congrats on 26 episodes. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that for sure. Let's see, who else do we have here? We've got sorry, I meant to click on this one instead. My Texas One. What's happening, My Texas One? What is it? You got the wavy hand. What is the red? Is that just a red face? Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen that one. How are you doing, My Texas One? Welcome to the chat. This is your first time, I think, if I'm correct. So hope the Death Squad fam makes you feel very, very welcome here. Let's see. We got Cody Snyder, another one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods. Has Bruiser been done on the Movie Punks platform? No. Bruiser has not been done. Man, I watched that. Gosh, I think I had it on VHS back in the day, and I've probably watched it a few times. That one's really great. Yeah, there's like a club scene with the Misfits in it, I believe, and Romero directed a Misfits music video like right around that same time. I mean, they must have just done it on the set or something like that. But yeah, that may just qualify, Big Rod, for sure. Let's see here. Who else do we got? We got Ashton Luck, one of our great channel members. How you doing, Ashton? So great to see you. We got Robert the Wolfman. Ow, ow! Another channel member and Death Squad mod. And yes, Jamie Killjoy Jake is a big Scream fan. He probably would be a good source for that. I'm curious to know how that's all gonna shake out here within the next what is it coming out next fall or something like that, 2025. Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see, who else do we got going on in here? Everyone's just being so cool, saying what's up to each other. I love it. I love it. We got Jordan Decker hanging out in the chat. How you doing, Jordan? One of our great channel members as well. Jamie threw her back out trying to be She-Ra. Flex Oral? Is that like a pain medication or something, Jamie? I know nothing about pharmaceuticals other than what I hear when I watch football, because it seems like that's half of the ads are pharmaceutical ads. What's happening, Adrian James? How you doing, man? I am having a good day so far. So great to see you. Let's see here. It's been years since Foz has seen Bruiser. I do it. I think the video for Scream that Romero did. Yeah, that's the one. That is the one. So yeah, guys, what do we got? 15 people or so hanging out with us here in the stream. What I'm going to do is, now we're getting the real good pharmaceutical talk going. I've never done this before. I'm just going to do a Q&A, and I'm just going to do a Ask Me Anything, because we might as well kind of get that cooking since it's just me tonight. And usually we've got somebody to bounce like a topic off of. So I don't know how that works, guys. If you're able to just pop in a question for me, and then I guess it probably pops up here and to where I can see it. Something like that. I know, sounds very complicated. But yeah, guys, let's I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a life update, channel update here. Let's see here. So, I'm really not usually very shy about it. Like, you guys know, I'm pretty open with you about everything. I probably mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Just had a little bit of like a rough patch in, my personal life and stuff like that. So, first off, I just want to say thank you guys for, sticking with me through everything. It's been really difficult. Yeah, I mean, maybe even going back to like June or so. Pretty up and down, very dynamic, and just trying to find, something every day to be, thankful for and happy about. And you guys have been a constant source, of positivity in my life. So I really appreciate that. Absolutely. I know I wore myself pretty thin in October doing everything that I did in October. But you guys were there for every step of the way, and it was awesome having you. And, it's just, want to get it out there just in case. I know sometimes there's, pockets of time where I'm more active on social. There's pockets of time where I'm less active. I don't know, like, I just think I have a weird or interesting or unique kind of personality where I'm an extrovert, right? But the thing about being an extrovert, a lot of times, is that you need to like recharge those batteries. And sometimes it takes me longer than I want it to. Or if I get down about something in my life, it gets tough for me to like dig myself out of it. So I just I want to put that out there, just, be transparent with you guys so you guys know a little bit more about me that goes beyond just like the hey, 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 which you're obviously going to get plenty of here on the channel. But I just want you to know a little bit more about what goes on in the background. And, there have been a lot of days where it's been tough just to like get up and do the things that I have to do to keep going. And then on those days, it's even tougher to fit in the extra stuff. And YouTube and this journey of content creation and everything is extra stuff for me. So if there are times when I'm not as poppin' or active, it just might be because of that. But I'm doing my best. One of the things I did recently, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I had quit drinking from like October last year through like February or like mid-February, something like that. So a good like 4 months or so, that almost 6 months, like I think about 5.5 months or something like that. And ever since then, I just sort of like dipped in and out. Like I would, have something with Kate on the weekend and then not have anything for a week or a week and a half or whatever. And then over time, like the time in between just got smaller and smaller. And, nothing's like gotten to a point where it's like, troublesome or anything to me, but it got to a point where I was like, well, this isn't going to help my motivation. So, I'm back on that sober journey as far as alcohol goes. I'll probably I don't know, never say never, but I do love my cannabis. So I have been enjoying that. And then also, I've gotten back into like a workout routine. So I've just got some weights here around the house, and I like to look up exercises and do those exercises. And I've got to get back into running. That's something I want to do because I'd like to do. There's a 10K coming up it's out in Sedona. I did the 5K last year, but I want to do the 10K this year. So I'm going to get back into that. And just trying to work in, cut out a couple things from my life that I don't really need going on in my life. And then reintroduce some things that are ultimately going to be good for me. So that's like my life update. And then channel update. I mean, I've probably talked about this before too. I mean, obviously not as crazy active during November as I was during October, but I did just drop a Tales from the Crypt episode review for Collection Completed, excuse me, which is the season 1 season finale. Now, we're technically not done with season 1 because the very first episode of Tales from the Crypt is a Christmas episode, and I'm going to review that one with Cody Snyder hanging out in the chat, and Cody from Dude Who Loves Movies. So we're gonna tackle that one, the three of us. That should be pretty cool. So we're just gonna schedule that to come out around Christmas time. So I actually just watched the first episode of season 2 last night. I can't wait to sit down and do my review for that one. It's called Dead Right. It has Jeffrey Tambor and Demi Moore in it, and man, it's really, really good. The production value is so much better, and damn, Demi Moore was like really, really friggin' cute back then. So yeah, that was really fun to watch, and I'll be getting keep that going on the Tales from the Crypt train. And then as far as channel member stuff goes, you guys know that my goal has been to be more active with you guys, at least go live with my channel members once a week. So that's still happening. And I also hope that with better motivation and better like habits and a healthier lifestyle, that I'll be able to record more videos, have a better schedule with all of that, and really be able to give the members the videos, at least a day before, hopefully, 2 days before I drop it for everyone else, because I want you guys to have some more benefits. And then also just trying to up the exclusive membership like posts and stuff like that. So I really want to get into that as well. And then, you guys have heard me talk about this. We're going to do a Thanksgiving stream for everyone. That's going to be a public stream, for everyone out there. Probably do another members only stream where we watch some other Thanksgiving movie or some other horror movie or something like that. And let's see here. I was going to do a video on the Thanksgiving, comparing the Thanksgiving trailer from Grindhouse to the movie, and sort of doing this pondering of, was what we got what we should have gotten, or should we have gotten something a bit more like the Grindhouse trailer, the Groundhog Day trailer? No, the Grindhouse trailer. So that might be something where I put a post out there and I ask you guys for your thoughts on, what you think of the Grindhouse trailer versus the final version of the film that we got, 17 years later, or however long later it was. When it was 2007 when Grindhouse came out, something like that. So yeah, I'm going to do that, as well as a deep dive. This might be my first like true deep dive review or like video essay on the version of Thanksgiving that we did get, where I'm going to go through each character and talk about them, go through each kill, like really do a big ass video. And that one will be pre-recorded. That'll be a behemoth for me to edit and everything, but my goal is to have it out that week of Thanksgiving. Of course, we got my guy Matt Facci out here in the chat, one of our great Death Squad mods. How are you doing, Matt? We are going to be back for a Thanksgiving edition of Start Bench Cut. We haven't nailed down a date yet, but we will, and so we'll be back for that. And then, yeah, coming into December, I'm talking with Darren from the Slaughtered Lamb about doing something with he and Frank over there on, I don't know, on their channel or my channel, I'm not sure, but doing something Christmas related. So look for that in December. And yeah, let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody, because I did see, boom, there he is, Eli Cortez. How you doing, Eli? So great to see you, my guy, one of our amazing channel members and Death Squad mods, and the guy that gets all the love in every Tales from the Crypt episode review. So deal with it, Eli, and hope you're having a great week so far, man. I really appreciate that, Foz. Thank you so much, man. Jordan says, my life is mostly just downs, Davey. Not a lot of ups until UPS delivers something nice. There it is. Yeah, man, it's been a while, Matt. I am so heartbroken over how things ended with your Denver Broncos. I was heartbroken enough that my team lost by a point. But to see you guys, go down that way, especially against the Chiefs, who seems like they're the worst 9-0 team of all time, but they play it right at the very, very end. They're like the last person at the blackjack table that knows that I don't know. It's like they know what everyone else has put down. They know which way they should go as far as taking a hit or dropping the cards. I'm so sick of those Chiefs winning every single damn game. Let's see here. Thank you so much, Eli. Really appreciate you, man. Really, really do appreciate you guys. Yeah, sorry. It's a lot of like diarrhea of the mouth to get out there to you guys. But I feel like every now and then it's good to do that, like check in with y'all. And, if something has just been pulling me down, like weighing me down, it just feels good to like say something to you guys about it. And then there's not this whole like, what happened to Davey? Drinking is all I have left, clinging onto it for dear life. Yeah. And you know what? More power to the folks that seem to do well with it. To me, it sucks a lot of my motivation. And I've said this, way back, like earlier in the, last year when I had, was still on my kick or whatever. And even if I like have one drink after work, or like even just a glass of wine with dinner, I don't want to do anything except for pop on a movie or a show and have another glass of wine and then fall asleep. So sometimes for me, it's like just finding motivation, especially even on like the weekends. And yeah, I'm so envious. Like, my wife, Kate, she can have a drink or two and doesn't really affect her. Like she can come right home and get a bunch of stuff done if she goes out after work. She's at a work event right now with her colleagues, so she'll probably be right as rain tomorrow. But for whatever reason, I don't handle it well. So I have to be smart and disciplined and, know myself and understand when enough is enough for sure. Let's see here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Jamie. Yeah, it's that's why I feel like I can, tell you guys what's going on because I feel tons of support from you guys. Absolutely. Boom, Cody's all pumped that I'm working out. There it is. And yeah, I'll never be as ripped as Cody Snyder, but I'll try. I'll try, gosh darn it. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I don't know if what I'm going through lately is like depression. It probably is. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you're not going to feel better until you start like pushing yourself to do things that maybe you don't really want to do, but you should do. So let's nix a couple of these things. Let's introduce some of these good habits, and that's going to bring energy and it's going to bring positivity and it's going to push all that depression and all that kind of stuff right out of there. Let's see here. Man, I wished I was named Cody just so you could be on the Christmas review. All right. Yeah. Well, there you go. Please call it Dude Who Loves Cody's. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, and Foz, we should do an episode of Tales from the Crypt just to have you on the show as a guest and cover it. Absolutely. Let's see here. Demi still foin in the substance. Oh, I bet she is. But man, she is just aggressively like adorable. That smoky voice. I mean, you're talking 1989 Demi Moore. She is just, and not only that, but like really, really charming. And it's awesome to see her and Jeffrey Tambor in an episode together. They're really, really good together. So I'm looking forward to, to covering that one. And I'm honestly, guys, I might get that one recorded really soon, like tomorrow. Yeah. Oh yeah. And she's in one of my favorite Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes. She's in Master Ninja, it was actually a TV show called The Master, and then it failed after like a season or something like that. So they put 2 episodes together and just call it a movie and call it Master Ninja. I think it's season 3 or season 4 on Mystery Science Theater 3000. But she's super cute in there as well. And damn, that voice. Yeah. Aging does suck, but there is hope for everybody. Of course, actors have so many benefits that we don't have, guys. Not only can they pay for work to be done, like usually good work that you can't really notice, but they can usually like pay for somebody to do their shopping and make their meals. So when it comes to like, making bad decisions as far as like health and exercise goes, they can literally hire people to prevent them from doing those things. That's why I'm not impressed when I see that John Krasinski won Sexiest Man Alive. I'm like, not in real life, you would have never won that. But I guess, yeah, if you're an actor and you get paid to have a 6-pack, maybe. But also, is he really the sexiest man alive? I mean, his face, guys, that guy's face. Kate and I rewatch The Office all the damn time. And I know we cover a lot of horror here on the channel. There might not be anything more horrific than that guy's face. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Oh yeah, Medley Man with his Friday the 13th series ranking remake at number 1. Oh, that's a good one. All right, I'm just perusing it really quick. If you drop your ranking on my vid, Medley Man, I will give you a proper response. There you go. Let's see here. Who else do we have? We have Joel from Dark Room Reviews hanging out. How you doing, Joel? Great to see you. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Blu-ray Addict is in the chat. The only time I drink is when I hang out with my friends. That's a good rule. That is a good rule. Yeah, it can be tough. Once you get on that train, it can be tough to get off. Not as ripped right now, bulking season. Yeah, you gotta put some meat on your bones so you don't freeze your ass off, living in that truck throughout the winter. Nice. Jamie subbing to Dark Room Reviews. Voz says some people don't drink or smoke because they're afraid their parents would kick their ass. I don't drink or smoke because I'm afraid Henry Rollins will kick my ass. Cultivating mass, good old Always Sunny reference. But yeah, guys, let's get into some horror movie news here. No weed or booze, simple soda drinker. Yeah, I don't drink soda anymore, but I do drink soda water. Right now, I've got a lemon and black cherry mix going on, which is very, very exciting. Adrian says, you ought to come to England, Davey. We've got some nice pubs to go to. Yeah, I need to get back on track. Back on crack. I mean, back on track. Everyone help me to convince Davey that we should do Son-in-Law for November's movie punks. Yeah, I've been thinking about like watching it here on the channel, Foz. Maybe you could join me for that one, and we could do like a live movie punks watch party or something like that. Kathleen Kinmont is almost 60 and does yoga, and damn, yeah, and she's very tall. So usually you'd think bigger people, tougher to age gracefully. I don't know. Judy Aronson, I know I'm always talking about her, but same kind of thing. She does like a yoga kind of thing, and she looks unreal. It's friggin' ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I can hardly afford instant ramen most weeks, is what Jordan's saying. Davey obviously hasn't seen my face. No, John Krasinski's nose is all-time bad. I will not stand for any dissing of Jim Halpert. He's my fake husband. Just kidding. Oh, yeah. Oh, people say you look like Pam. Okay, I can sort of see that a little bit, Jamie, for sure. Yeah. There's the first time I watched The Office, I didn't cringe nearly as much as as I have on my 10th or 11th time. Boom, movie punks live. Hell yeah. Yeah. That'll be fun, man. I haven't seen Son-in-Law since it came out on VHS. But I did see Encino Man in the theater. Jamie, did you see Encino Man in the theater? Boom. All right, there we go. What is going on? Can you guys see the Ask Me Anything in the chat? Is that popping up to you? I'm not trying to bully you into asking me a question. I just want to make sure it's working. Because it didn't look like it was. Are you saying pan with like a soft N? Yeah. I like a guy with a big nose. Maybe it's an Italian thing. His is like a mess, though. I mean, I've got kind of a big nose, but Jim's is like this. They make that joke about somebody told him that he looked like Richard Nixon or something, and it's like, yeah, he's got a Nixonian nose. Is that the right term? Nixonian? Nixotic? Nixotic. I think I like that, even though it's probably not correct. I do like it. And look at that. Boom. Darkroom Reviews is getting some subs here. You guys are awesome. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and get into some horror news. Some of this is, news from either, the weekend, or maybe it's just dropped recently. Let's see here. We are going to start, though, of course, and it's been brought up before here on the Chin Chan on the channel. But let's see here. We are going to go with Tony Todd, guys. This is I know it's crazy because like 69 is it's in that odd spot where it's like I think he's too young to go, unless there was some underlying issue that that he kept privately, which is certainly well within anyone's right to do, right? But yeah, it just seems so young and just so sudden to to lose a guy like Tony Todd. And this is a guy who, I know people toss around the term like iconic quite a bit, and they might say iconic just because they really like I think in a lot of ways we've sort of like lost the meaning of a lot of words in our society where we just say like something's iconic because we think it's really cool or just because it's like memorable. But Tony Todd as Candyman is one of those like iconic, gruesome portrayals, and just something like that jacket that he's got on, the hook with just the all the gross stumps surrounding the hook and everything, the bees, no, not the bees, and him holding the bees in his mouth and just going full bore in a time where it was like these practical effects, these images that don't get out of your head for years. Like the people that watch these movies when they came out still have these certain images of this character. And going beyond what he did, in Candyman. I didn't know this. I guess I didn't know that he was in. It says here, the prolific actor amassed more than 240 film and TV credits spanning his 4-decade career. While the actor's big break came when he was cast in Oliver Stone's 1986 Vietnam War epic Platoon, he would secure his name in the genre pantheon just a few short years later. Guys, I don't know. I've probably only seen Platoon once when I was like 17 or 18, and I didn't remember Tony Todd being in there. So, whoo, brain fart on that one. But as it says here, that he starred in Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead, and we've definitely talked about that here on the channel because I know a lot of people may prefer the remake. I prefer the original film, but I will say this, that Tony Todd is the best part about the Night of the Living Dead remake. And I still enjoy the movie. I think the movie's really damn good. It just has a little bit of that like production value of, like a TV show looking production value. A lot of the early 90s horror movies kind of have that, like the lighting is a bit too bright or something just makes it look a little cheaper, less expensive. But man, Tony Todd stepping into the role of Ben, and I mean, especially since Dwayne Jones gives such an awesome performance in the original, some really big shoes to fill, and he kills it. Yeah, he brings this, I don't know, this natural sort of vulnerability to the role that I really, really enjoy. And he's got that amazing voice. I think that's another thing too about Tony Todd that we'll always talk about, just an unbelievable voice. That's one of the things about the Candyman character is he's so dangerous, but so like sexy in this dangerous way and so alluring. Like there really is, I don't think it's, I don't think I'm taking that big of a chance by saying this, but there's definitely a very sexy vibe going on in Candyman, juxtaposed to the horrific violence. So I just, we had talked about it a couple times here on the channel. We had brought it up when you guys had brought it up in the chat, after it had happened and everything. But I just wanted to spend, a few minutes since we're covering the news, like really, giving you guys some more of my, organized thoughts on it and just, taking a look at what Bloody Disgusting had to say, just a little bit here. So, he's saying that they're saying here, when speaking at the Salem Horror Fest in 2023, the actor traced his affection for acting back to a high school English teacher who introduced him to Shakespeare's The Tempest. And Todd said, "It was like a light bulb went off. From that moment on, I knew that my whole life would be dedicated to portraying deep, enriched characters and representing my people that didn't come along with me or were stuck in a groove. So it's not just me sitting up here. It's everybody I ever knew," which is such a cool way to look at the calling to be an actor, like doing it as thinking of it as like a service, like a public service. That's really cool. And then of course, yeah, I mean, can't mention Tony Todd in horror without also bringing up Final Destination. They say he had an impactful role in the Final Destination films as coroner William Bloodworth, beautiful name, whose fans speculate is either the Grim Reaper or Satan himself. Yeah, I like the idea of Grim Reaper, right? Does it have to be Satan? I think it should just be, yeah, he represents death, right? Oh, yeah. And they say here, it's clear that Todd loved the genre just as much as the fans, and its fans loved him. Some of his other notable genre credits include Wishmaster, The Crow, Adam Green's Hatchet franchise, Hellfest, Freeform's Dead of Summer, and MTV/VH1's Scream, and so much more. Oh yeah, and the voice, man, voicing Venom in the Spider-Man, Insomniac Games Spider-Man. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff there. Yeah, it's 69. Just feels too young. It feels like we could have gotten another, 20 some years of Tony Todd. So I've been blah, blah, blahing enough. I'm going to hop on over and see, what you guys are saying here as you guys throw down some love here for the man. Let's see what we got. Oh, hey, we got Victor E. Merced hanging out. What's happening, Victor? Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Tom Baker says, smart man, Tony Todd. Yeah. I had a crush on Adrian Brody circa Summer of Sam. That nose was legendary. Leanna's still on the nose thing. All right. Legendary noses. There should be a book like that. How about it? You should do a review on Thanksgiving. I can't write the real word or YouTube. YouTube will really delete that. That's wild. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the full movie of Thanksgiving, but I've seen at least the first 15 or 20 minutes or so. Always loved Tony Todd in The Crow. He's so menacing. Yeah, very powerful performer. And gosh, I got a little croup in my throat. What's crazy too, speaking of Tony Todd, I went to the Land of the Dead. It wasn't like the premiere. It was just opening night in Hollywood at the Cinerama back in 04. Is that 03? 03 when Land of the Dead came out. And my brother and I went there. My brother, Matt, we're sitting there at the Cinerama and not a very packed house or anything like that. And I swear he was there. I didn't walk up to him and confirm, but when you see this big dude and I'm putting things together, I'm like, wait a minute, it's Land of the Dead. He was in the Night of the Living Dead remake. It looks a lot like Tony Todd. We're in Hollywood at one of the most famous, the Cinerama's like that golf ball looking movie theater. Didn't confirm, but pretty damn sure it was Tony Todd watching Land of the Dead in the very same theater with not many people. I should have gone up to him and said, what's up? But I was a bit shy. Let's see here. Tony Todd was great in The Rock and Final Destination. Man, I haven't seen The Rock VHS again. I'll have to go back and check that one out because I guess I don't remember distinctively seeing him there. Yeah, I think people do forget about that. Maybe not, this last 6 months to a year, people have been revisiting that movie quite a bit, so maybe they're catching on a little bit more. But yeah, this it always happens when somebody passes. It sort of shines a light on some of the other performances that don't get as much of the love and attention, for sure. Let's see here. Platoon is a classic. Yeah, it's been a long time. That's a hardcore movie. Good old Oliver Stone. Definitely makes some tough ones. Big Rod says Candyman shifted me from a horror fan to horror fanatic. That is too cool. Yeah, the 90s were so odd, but some of them worked, and they clearly couldn't just do the same thing that they did in the 80s. There was at the end of the 80s, we saw that the slasher formula needed some sort of jump start or needed to be pushed or pointed in a different direction. And I feel like in the 90s, especially the early 90s, they went that kind of sexy route a little bit, Ashton says, I hope he got to be in Final Destination Bloodlines. Well, yeah, they've already filmed that, right? So if he was invited to be part of it and was available, then yeah, hopefully they do have him in there. I have no doubt they'll probably dedicate the movie to him now at the very least if they weren't able to, to get him on there. Let's see. Yeah, Gerard Depardieu. I love the Night of the Living Dead remake, but also prefer the original, says Blu-ray Addict. And Cody says that's still my favorite zombie movie, my introduction to Tony Todd. Hell yeah. Yeah, really damn good in Night of the Living Dead. Absolutely. Steve Martin in The Jerk is comedy gold. Yes, absolutely. The whole movie of The Jerk is comedy gold. Blu-ray, I heard a rumor earlier this year he was supposed to be in it. I don't know if he's got any. Oh yeah, if the rumors were true. It's so tough to know until you hear it for sure if somebody's going to be in a movie. He had finished filming. Okay, great. That's awesome. That is way too cool that they were able to get him in there. Yes, be my victim. So, so good. What a great line. What a great line. DA Mac, one of our great channel members hanging out with us. How you doing, DA? Great to see you. Hope you've been having a good week thus far. Absolutely. And welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Looks like we're all kind of caught up on the Tony Todd thoughts. Tony Todd thoughts. I'm interested to see what you guys think of this next one that we've got. We've got this Finn Wolfhard and Jason Reitman remaking the 90s horror movie Idle Hands. Is it a horror? I guess it's kind of a dark comedy with horror elements. I mean, I guess if Evil Dead 2 is horror, then so is Idle Hands. And we just talked about Tony Todd and Final Destination, and here's a remake being planned for, the star of Final Destination's movie from, what was it, 1999? When was it? When did it come out? Why did they just say 90s horror comedy? Yeah, Finn Wolfhard and Jason Reitman. And it looks like, Finn Wolfhard is attached to write and possibly co-direct the upcoming movie is what they're saying here, which is, I had no idea that he was a writer, but I guess it makes sense, right? Out of every crop of upcoming actors and, whenever new stars are formed in Hollywood, you figure that, a good handful of them are going to want to or have aspirations to write or direct, or maybe that's how they kind of something that they were just doing the whole time they were into acting. So yeah, I'm interested with this one. They say Variety reports that Finn Wolfhard and his Hell of a Summer collaborator Billy Brick will be co-writing the movie, and it's possible the duo may also end up directing. Wolfhard just made his directorial debut with the slasher Hell of a Summer, which is being released in 2025. All right, well, I need to check out Hell of a Summer then and see what these guys are all about as far as, writing and directing goes. And then they say Jason Reitman, who did Ghostbusters Afterlife, will produce the Sony Pictures remake of Idle Hands. Reitman is producing alongside Jennifer Todd and Suzanne Todd via their Team Todd banner. Are they related to Tony Todd? Gil Keenan will also produce, while Maya Iyer is overseeing the production the project at Sony. Yeah, I'm interested in this one because this was a movie that when it came out, I was such a sourpuss about movies that, had just gotten into Evil Dead, and I was like, this just looks like such an Evil Dead 2 ripoff. Watched it with my friends. Everyone had a good time. I had a fine enough time, but I never revisited the movie, and I always sort of like poo-pooed it because of the similarities with Evil Dead 2. Instead of, seeing that it was kind of a love letter and an homage, I was like offended, 17-year-old me. Or 18, however old I was when I saw it, was like, oh, how dare they do that, which is so silly because now if something came out like this, I would be racing to the theaters to see it. So I definitely have to revisit the original and, follow the story here as far as what this remake's going to be like. How are they going to change it? How are they going to modernize it for this day and age? Because I think that's always the challenge, is like, are you going to do it as a period piece, or are you going to modernize it? I always err on the side of you got to find a way to modernize it, especially if you want to get a younger audience. So I suppose it's a good thing that a couple of younger folks are writing it. I mean, I know Finn Wolfhard was just a kid when Stranger Things started, but that was like 10 years ago. So he's had a little bit of time to grow up, just a little bit. The first thing I ever saw him in was the music videos for he's in at least one music video for this band Pup from Canada. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band Pup, P-U-P. They are friggin' amazing, man. That band is incredible. And I think a couple of the Stranger Things kids are in their first music video. What's that song called? Is it called like Guilt Trip or something like that? Let me see. Yeah, Guilt Trip. Yeah, May 15th, 2014 is when that came out. Was that before or after Stranger Things? It must have been right before. But yeah, guys, if you have not checked out the video Guilt Trip, I wonder if I can here. I'm going to post a link in the chat so you guys can go check it out if you want to at some point here. So there we go. A little bit of a different late night with the Davy tonight, huh? Huh, kids? There we go. Cool. If you guys want to check out the video for Pup's Guilt Trip, I think that record, that self-titled record that it came out on is pretty incredible. There's only one song that doesn't really work for me because it's a little bit too slow. But man, what a fucking record, dude. And that band, I've never seen them live, but I've watched live performances of them and they absolutely kill it. But what do you guys think about the Idle Hands remake? What do you think about the original Idle Hands? Is that one that you revisit as time goes on, or is it one that you've just sort of oh yeah, I remember seeing that when it came out, but I don't really go back to it very often? I'm curious to know what you guys think about all of that. Let's see here. Just want to catch up with everybody because we've got Antonis Andriotis in the house. How you doing, Antonis? Great to see you. Awesome to see you. One of our great channel members there hanging out. Jordan says, no, 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 no. Leave Idle Hands alone. Go home, Michael. His rage. Yes. Now I just, anytime I yell, I just want to do Loomis saying, go home, Michael. Yeah, they should just make it a sequel. There you go. Do it a legacy sequel or something like that. I mean, even you could do the whole, you know, like when The Evil Dead or Evil Dead came out in 2013, it was marketed as a remake. But now that we have more pieces to that puzzle, we know that it really is just a sequel that's called Evil Dead. The original is called The Evil Dead, right? So the 2013 is just Evil Dead. And you could do something like that with Idle Hands where, yeah, it's the same exact curse or whatever that rears its ugly head again. And yes, you could bring Devin Sawa back, who everyone absolutely loves. Seth Green's still kicking. All those people. Jessica Alba, could they get her? She's a dreadful actress, but easy on the eyes, I guess. Let's see here. Big Rod says, I don't know if it needs a remake. The original was kind of a product of its time, and horror has gone so far since then. Yeah, that's the trick, right? The trick is, if you're like, man, this movie's really funny, but how do we make it relevant to nowadays? Like, how do you bring in, are you going to bring in some sort of weird, like, social media element? You know, there's creative ways of doing it, right? Hopefully this isn't the only example, but the one that pops right out to me immediately is like with Smile 2, they just took it on a bigger scale. And, you know, let's see what happens when a pop star picks up this, you know, this evil entity. Whereas the first movie could be like in any time and place, right? So even with the sequel of Smile, you know, just a few years later after the original, they found a way to make it even more modern. So I think that'll be the trick, Big Rod. And, you know, maybe we'll learn a little bit of those breadcrumbs as things go along. But I think certainly this, you know, this makes me want to revisit the original and see what I think of it. Because I think I only watched it once with a big group of friends. I think we were at Tom McKenzie's house. Tom, if you're out there watching now or watching later, let me know if I'm wrong. Let's see here. Boom! Eli Cortez has been a member for 3 months. Yes, guys, if you don't know this, when you become a member, each month you get one of these member chats. It's like a super chat that you don't have to pay anything extra for, and it lets me pop it up here. Eli says, this community is the greatest. Let's go, Death Squad. Thank you so much, Eli. I really appreciate your membership and and your involvement in the community. I mean, man, sending me all those Blu-rays and DVDs and steelbooks. It's incredible. Actually, we're going to talk about one of the things you sent me just later on here in a little bit. Holy cow, we've been going for almost an hour already, and I've talked about like 2 things. Blu-ray says, I guess that's where we are now. We're starting to see remakes of 90s and early 2000s movies. Yep, every like 20 years, man. Cody says Idle Hands does not need a remake. And look out, Finn Wolfhard, because Cody's bulking up, so don't get on his bad side. Hopefully the soundtrack isn't modern Gen Z music. The soundtrack in the original is fantastic. Yeah, because they did like pop punk, like the Offspring and all that stuff. Mm. Yeah, maybe. So maybe they should do something where they set it like 10 years after the original and they do like a legacy sequel, but they put it in that like early 2010s or like late aughts, might be kind of fun. Might be kind of fun. I mean, Idle Hands was perfect for what it was. This will be worse than the Crow remake. I love Idle Hands so much. I watch it every year for Halloween. There you go, Foz. I got to get on that train. DA says, I just read online they're remaking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles starring Will Smith and Kevin Hart. Is nothing sacred? I mean, talk about a movie that doesn't, you can just make a very similar movie. There's plenty of them. I mean, there's Dutch with, what's his face? Al Bundy. Why can't I think of the actor's name? Ed O'Neill and Ethan Embry, I believe, was in that one. So Dutch is very similar, where it's like a, stepfather and stepkid kind of thing. And then there's didn't they do who was it? Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. in a movie called like Due Date. That's basically a remake of Planes, Trains. I just feel like you could just do that, Man, I think the problem with having it be Will Smith and Kevin Hart is I guess Will Smith will be like the fuddy-duddy. I don't know. They're both so like kind of high energy when it comes to comedy. And it would be kind of cool to see a chunkier guy get the annoying person role. Like, let's get Kenan Thompson in there. I think Kenan Thompson would be pretty good. Pretty good. And but doing a remake of that, just a palette swap remake, I don't understand the point for sure. There we go. Blu-ray watches Idle Hands every October. Big Rod loves Solo Late Night with the Davey. The interaction is turned up to 11. Yeah, guys, last week was rough because I was starting to come down with a little something. I started not feeling well a couple hours before the show, and it was just too late. I was like, I'm going to do it. Started getting a bit feverish and a bit headachy during the stream. And I was like extra focusing on the conversation with Matt just to make sure that I could keep it all together. So yeah, Late Night with the Davey with you guys. It's great because I can just kick back and really spend my time with y'all. And Jamie's throwing it out there. Don't forget to smack that like, subscribe to the channel, join the Death Squad for member content. And if you're watching on the replay, leave a comment, won't you? Thank you. Cody loves Idle Hands. Yes. He's got another hand and 2 feet. I saw Idle Hands in the theater. There she is. They're really reaching deep into the barrel for these remakes these days. Yeah. Yep. And there are plenty of like really good movies, good, older movies that weren't very well loved. I mean, I guess we are getting another My Bloody Valentine remake, but come on, where's the Prowler? Where's the modern Prowler? Give me it. Oh shit. Eli says they're going to remake Jaws with a dyslexic alligator or a craccoon one of these days. I hope they never remake Jaws. That's a tough one. I can't believe it hasn't happened yet. I really can't. Like, I'm kind of blown away. What's happening, Kyle Curtis? So great to see you, one of our amazing channel members here. And guys, if you do not sub over at Flet's Movies and Pop Culture 13, do us all a favor. Go check his channel out. He's got interviews with some pretty heavy hitters. So go check out his interviews and his previous live streams. See if it's something that you're into and think about giving him a sub. His interview with Damien Rugna, from who directed When Evil Lurks and Terrified, really, really good shit. Let's see here. Shout out to the movie Little Giants, just turned 30 the other day. I saw that one in the theater, Jamie. That's for damn sure. Let's see here. What else do we got? What's happening? Dean Renner in the house. How you doing, Dean? So great to see you, my guy. Really appreciate you kicking it with us here. Hope all is well with you and yours. Are you at work right now? Stuck at work on a Wednesday night? Hopefully not. Boom. Member for 3 months. Cody didn't even want to put in an extra chat. He's just like, boom, I'm going to share it. There it is. Thank you so much, Cody, man. Really, really appreciate you. Let's see what else we got. Geez, I'm Raymond. You know what? I decided to bump it up tonight because I'm flying solo. Our guest had it just fell through this weekend or late last week, and I wasn't able to find somebody to be a replacement in time. So yeah, just me tonight. And I know, guys, I'm messing around with the time. I totally get it. I apologize, Raymond. I love that you're showing up still and kicking it with us. Yeah, but I was like, man, because the time switched. Like Arizona doesn't switch time, but it kind of does because everyone else does. So 10 o'clock Eastern is like 8 p.m. for me instead of 7 p.m., which is what it's been, the whole rest of the time I've been doing late night with the Davy. So it's a little bit late, and seeing as how it was going to be a solo episode, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do it at 9 p.m. Eastern. And honestly, guys, I put out that poll just to pick between Friday and Wednesday. Friday won in the poll, but there's just not many votes. It's like 30 some votes or something. So I'm just thinking, like, I think keeping it on Wednesday is a really cool idea. It opens up Friday for something like movie punks, or if I want to do a watch party with you guys, or something with the members and all that. And then also, Fridays are really busy. And of course I want to stay loyal to the folks that got us here and helped build this community. And a lot of people know this as a Wednesday night show. So I do want to stick with that. But I think I'm going to do 9 p.m. Eastern. And I know that's not very late, but I think 9 p.m. Eastern is going to be able to help us get more guests in, to have more time with those guests, hopefully. And for you guys to be able to stick around a little bit longer. I've noticed over the last month and a half, where people just haven't been able to stay for as long, or maybe they show up if there's a real big heavy hitter coming on the show, which is totally fine. I mean, you guys owe me nothing. So I love that you come and hang out when you hang out, and really appreciate you. But yeah, I think the final word, and I know it's not very democratic, but it's my channel, so I guess it's not very democratic. But even though the move to Friday won in the poll, I think I'm going to stick with Wednesday and do 9 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully you guys don't hate me for that. Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you hate me for that. But hopefully it'll just help our audience grow and open up more opportunities for guests down the line, for sure. So yeah, no worries, Raymond. You can always scrub it on back if you want to hear me talk about, give you guys a little bit. At the beginning of the show, I gave a little bit of a life update and a channel update, so you can always scrub it on back if you want to check that one out. Blu-ray says due date is kind of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah. They remade Fletch. Haven't seen it yet, but the first two movies are hilarious. Well, and the cool thing is, Eli, is it's not a remake because there's like 7 Fletch books or something like that. And this one is like the first two, or at least the first one with Chevy, was based on a book. I don't know if Fletch Lives was based on one of the books. It might have been. And then, yeah, when John Hamm came in and stepped into the role, 2 or 3 years ago or something like that, that's based on a different book. So that's called Confess, Fletch. And that's the name of the book it's based on. It's really good, dude. It's very, very good. I'm not even the biggest John Hamm guy. I don't think he's bad. I'm just not like in Top Gun Maverick. He really like pulled me out of the movie because all I could see is like the guy from 30 Rock and Mad Men or whatever. But he is really funny as Fletch. He doesn't play. It's not as like, he doesn't try to copy Chevy Chase, which is great. I've never read a Fletch book, but everything I've heard is that it's a little bit more like the way Fletch is in the books, where he's still really funny, but it's not played up as much. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen that yet, I believe it's on Paramount Plus. It's really, really entertaining. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And let's see here. I want to get through a little bit more of this news, guys. Just want to make sure we aren't missing anybody. What's happening, Dave Vanderhoff? How you doing, Vanderhoff? So great to see you, man. Digging that Blair Witch physical media release or what? Dean is off tonight. Thank the Lord. Long weekend coming up, though, starting tomorrow night. All right. Well, I guess that's where you get most of your fundage, working at a bar, I would imagine. What's happening, Aaron? So great to see you. So great to see you. Welcome to the show. Jordan says, my hands are about as idle as Anton's. I drink beers. I change the remote. I relieve a little tension. Oh my goodness. What are we talking about here, people? Plenty of horror inspiration at Walmart. I've seen some scary stuff at Walmart. AZ is bizarre with the time zone. Yeah, because we don't change, but everyone else does. So we pretty much do. I have to wait an hour longer for football on Saturdays and Sundays, guys. It's terrible. 10 a.m. for football is long enough to wait. I don't know how people on the East Coast do it. 1 p.m. for your first football game on a Sunday? Terrible. Let's see here. What do we got going on? Ooh, this is a good question from the Q&A. I mean, I don't think it's from the Q&A, but here we go. Davey, what was your most disappointing punk rock album when it was newly released? Most disappointing newly released album in general? Well, Aaron, I will say this. When I bought The Gray Race by Bad Religion and put it on my boombox at home and sat in front of the boombox just reading the lyrics and listening to the album, I was pretty underwhelmed. And I was like, oh man, it just seems like kind of mid-tempo-y. There's not too many like really fast songs or anything. And then like the next day I listened to it again and liked it a little bit more. And like, you know, within the first few days of having the album, I listened to it probably 5 or 6 times and had completely fallen in love with it. So that's a movie or a album that sticks out to me as one where I was like, I don't know. And then it won me over. This isn't really punk rock, but when Saves the Day, they're one of my favorite bands of all time from Princeton, New Jersey. When they put out their 4th album, In Reverie, it sounded so different than anything else they had ever done. It was all these weird, like kind of spooky melodies and different sounds, and it just had a bit more of like a spooky power pop kind of vibe instead of like the pop punk kind of vibe that they had on their first 3 records. And mind you, the first 3 Saves the Day records, like to me, all sound distinctly different, but they all sound like the same band that's growing a little bit. By the time In Reverie came out, I was like, what the hell is this? Because it really seemed like a huge pivot. And then, you know, fast forward to like 10 years down the road, and I gave it another shot and really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'd say that's probably what I go for. I another one that pops into my mind right now too is the Green Album by Weezer. The songs are all structured the exact same way. Like literally listen to the Green Album by Weezer. Every single song is like verse, chorus, bridge with a solo, but the solo is just the vocal melody played over the verse instead of like an actual like creative solo that plays on emotion or any other scale. They just literally do the same vocal melody just on a guitar. And every song on that record's that way. And I think that's pretty disappointing. Thank you for the question, Aaron. Really appreciate it, man. I love when I can talk about like random stuff here on the channel. Big Rod loves an hour earlier. I won't have to go to bed a third of the way through the show. Boom. There it is. Trailer Park Shark is a funny movie. Gonna have to check that one out for sure. Oh, no worries at all, Raymond. Yeah. I thought about making like an announcement about it, but I was like, you know, I'm just gonna let it fly. I trust you guys to find where we are. I'm here for Davey, and whoever is on, got to support a great channel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Dave. Raymond voted for Wednesday at 9. Boom. Fridays aren't always open to me. Perfect. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get back into the news because holy crap, you guys. I watched this trailer, and I know I don't watch a lot of trailers, but good god damn, I watched this trailer for this dreadful looking Little Mermaid movie. And we don't need to spend a lot of time on this one. I just thought it would be funny to cover it because I did watch the trailer. And I like we've entered in this whole age of like every kid's property is going to be turned into some sort of horror movie, and probably a tenth of them are going to be good and the others are going to be like, okay, that exists. I do kind of like she's got her top here is like netting, like that's a pretty interesting look. However, I think this is a big swing and a miss on this one because the Little Mermaid, like, why isn't Ursula the bad guy? Why is the bad guy the mermaid? Why is the mermaid the slasher and not like a big like Cthulhu version of Ursula or something like that? That would be amazing. Like I don't know. Like maybe they didn't have the budget for it or whatever, but I felt like it was sort of a missed opportunity to have like a final girl in the mermaid and, have it be like Ursula's like killing everyone that lives in the kingdom under the sea. And so Ariel has to like basically she has to find a way to become human in a way to like, or as a way to resist what Ursula is doing and to, beat her down and rightfully take back the crown, or I don't know, something. I know my idea is half baked, but it seems like it's still a quarter more baked than this idea because it says following in the wake of Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse getting their own horror movies, Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid is the next to get its own R-rated twist. Lionsgate's horror movie The Little Mermaid will release on digital outlets December 17th, 2024. Phew. The film is rated R for language, violence, and nudity. Lionsgate previews Beauty is deceiving and dangerous in this darkly fascinating twist on Hans Christian Andersen's tale. So I guess that's why they didn't do Ursula, because it's probably like a $5 million budget movie, that's just being rushed out. This probably would have been made by the Asylum 10 or 15 years ago, but now it's Lionsgate. It says in the upcoming horror movie from director Lee Scott, not Lee Winnell, after archaeologist Dr. Eric Prince. Fuck, his fucking name's Eric Prince. Isn't he just like Prince Eric or something like that? You got to name him Eric Prince. That's so on the nose. That's the most. That is the most like soap opera-y shit. Okay, sorry. Let me start over. After archaeologist Dr. Eric Prince and his students uncover an ancient pagan temple in the depths of the Caribbean, Eric falls for a mysterious woman who resembles a mermaid he and his team encountered at sea. As their relationship intensifies, she leads Eric deeper into her evil underwater world until he must choose between true love and the destruction of all humanity. And the destruction of all manatees? Yeah, I don't know. I like the poster. Just a big old pile of skulls. Yeah, this movie looks cheap. The most expensive thing looks like the poster here. And yeah, this looks like it's going to be really rough. Have you guys watched the trailer for this Disney meets Lovecraft? I don't know. I think that Bloody Disgusting is being very kind, saying Disney meets Lovecraft, but I guess you got to have a good headline that brings people in, right? Let's see what you guys are saying about this friggin' Little Mermaid nightmare here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, Foz, I think The Gray Race is friggin' awesome. It's one of my favorite Bad Religion albums of all time. But when I first listened to it, I was underwhelmed. Yeah. Oh, they're so much fun live. They're going to be here in like December. Hopefully I can go. Not sure if I can go. Ooh, Eli. Yeah, I've got some thoughts on that. I'm going to save that one. We'll come back to it. Yeah. Weezer only had 2 albums. That's weird. Yeah, I do Maladroit has some really, I like the production on Maladroit. I feel like they course corrected a little bit from the Green album. Their songs are way more interesting on Maladroit. Make Believe has some good tracks. It's a bit more safe. I sort of fell off of Weezer after that. But yeah, I mean, their first two records are the best, I think, for sure. But I would still like, I'd go see them on any tour. They're an absolute blast to catch live. So um, I'd still go see them. Yeah, it's friggin' crazy, Dean. And of course it's gonna be cheap as all get out, you know. I mean, that's where we're at, is these cheap remakes and demakes and reimaginings and all that kind of nutty stuff. We got Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews in the house. How you doing, Frank? Congratulations on 2K, my guy. So pumped for you, man. It's always great when it happens to the good people, and you are one of the good ones, my man. So congratulations. Yeah, there's also a Hungry Hungry Hippos horror movie in the work. Are you serious, dude? What? No. No, Blu-ray. Tell me you're joking. Please tell me you're joking. They have to put a modern twist on it. Yeah, Dr. Eric Prince. Yep. Nope is the right one. It is the right response. I forgot the Little Mermaid horror movie, still getting over Robert Englund in a Pinocchio. When at least that movie, it's like those guys are building towards something. Like, I haven't seen any of the Pooniverse movies, but you know, the first one, most people are like complete utter shit. The second one, people were like, okay, we're getting there. We're still not quite there, but we are getting there. And it was way better than the first one. And then now with the Pinocchio movie, it's like you got Richard Brake and Robert Englund in it, and it starts looking like, oh crap, is this one going to be good? And I did watch I watched the Peter Pan trailer. That looks stupid. But I guess like you don't get any story bits in the trailer. It's just this guy like that calls himself Peter that sometimes wears a mask and kills people, and I guess he's taking children and stuff like that too, but he's killing other people. And it just seems like, how is this Peter Pan? Which is, to me, sort of feels like the same thing as Little Mermaid. Like, how is this, like, if Ursula isn't in it, unless Ariel's just on the side of Ursula, then is it really the Little Mermaid? I don't know. Yeah, another movie I'll never watch. They just need to do a better Chucky. Was My Buddy and Me, but it didn't go try hard with the lore. It took a little something. It took something kids loved and build a new story around the character rather than a singular story. Yeah, yeah. You could have done this movie in so many other different ways. Ariel being the bad guy. It seriously seems like the ideas are so surface level. They're like, we'll do Peter Pan, where Peter's the killer. We'll do the Little Mermaid, where the Little Mermaid's the killer. We're gonna do Bambi, where Bambi's the killer. And didn't they make fun of that like on SNL a few years ago with The Rock? Eric, the doctor formerly known as Prince. Oh, Jamie, come on. You know, I know it's not playing in the theater, but you'll still be able to see it on VOD. Little Mermaid movie is something I'd watch at like 3 a.m. after a night of work, and I get home, so I need something to fall asleep to. Ariel does Austin over this Little Mermaid movie. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Gene. Have a great rest of your night. Take care. I guess I'm the weird one that likes the PD horror movies I've seen. PD. The PD horror movies I mean. I don't know. What does PD mean? I can't think of it right now. I guess I am just a little dumb. It's sad they can't come up with anything with any original horror ideas and use children's stories instead. Yeah, and well, and to do something like this, where is it? This nonsense. Let me boom. Dear God. I mean, did we even try here? I guess not. I mean, like I said, it's like if the Asylum did this shit. You know, I still can't believe this. After archaeologist Dr. Eric Prince, this is like something that they would say in like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like Charlie and Mac are writing a movie and they come up with the most like on the nose name ever. It's so corny. Yeah. What's happening, Garrett? Great to see you. How you doing, man? Dude, you've just been popping off lately. I bet you are pumped on that Trick or Treat physical media release. So happy to see a whole bunch of people getting those even before Halloween. A lot of people got those. Hell yeah, man. Hope all is well with you and yours, Garrett. Thank you so much for dropping in. Using children's stories is the bizarre slant. It's uncomfortable. And hello, Pat. Everyone's saying what's up to Garrett. Absolutely. And we got Gory Tiger. How you doing, Gory? Always a pleasure to have you hop into the chat. Hope you are doing well. This has got to be a joke. The Hungry Hungry Hippo movie is about a group of tourists on holiday who find themselves fighting for their lives against a rampaging hippo after they end up lost in the Louisiana swamplands. Starring The Rock and Kevin Hart. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can cram through a couple of these, couple more of these stories here. I had to talk about had to talk about The Little Mermaid. Let's see what else is there. I'm interested to know what you guys think about. God, can I just get this ad out of my face? I'm interested in knowing what you guys think about this one, this Silent Night, Deadly Night. That Bloody Disgusting is going to have a hand in. Says 40 years after parents picketed outside of theaters following the release of the initial Santa slasher movie in the franchise, we're excited to announce today that Cineverse has acquired global rights to a new Silent Night, Deadly Night film. Fresh off the release of Terrifier 3, Bloody Disgusting will be producing the upcoming reboot of the franchise that will be written and directed by Mike P. Nelson from Wrong Turn and VHS 85, and produced by Scott J. Schneed and Dennis Whitehead, executive producers of the original 1984 TriStar film, alongside Jamie R. Thompson. And it looks like a couple of the Terrifier folks, Brandon Hill and Brad Miska, are going to oversee for Cineverse and executive produce alongside Eric Opeka and Yolanda Macias. Yeah, this one is kind of this is big news, I mean, with how well Terrifier 3 did, which, guys, I've seen Terrifier 3. I just haven't shot my video or my review yet because I don't even know if the world wants it. Do you guys even want a review of Terrifier 3? You want to hear me talking about Terrifier 3? I don't know. The view counts on the previous Terrifier reviews would say no, but let me know in the chat or let me know in the comments if you're watching after the fact. Maybe I'll put a little something together for you. Yeah, but after the success of, Terrifier 3, it doesn't surprise me at all that, we're going to see a jump back into this whole, let's do, granted, there have been some Christmas horror movies as of late, but I think that there's just going to be, people will be emboldened to be like, let's jump into this, like full bore. Let's strip down and let's skinny dip in this lake of Christmas horror films. And hopefully it means more movies like this and less movies like Black Christmas 2019. Less said about that one, the better. But yeah, like the article says here, when it was released in 1984, the first Silent Night, Deadly Night quickly became the most controversial movie of the year. In a series of letters, parents demanded the film be pulled from theaters. TriStar, the film's original distributor, responded to all the outrage by doing just that, an act that would ensure Silent Night, Deadly Night's place in the halls of horror film infamy. In an instant, Silent Night, Deadly Night transformed from just another slasher film to a veritable cult classic. The very people who sought to banish it from existence, serving to make it one of the most must-see horror films of the entire decade. And it's all going to start again. I'm guessing they're going to want to put this out probably October or November next year. Just with how well Terrifier did in October, you might as well put it out then, So yeah, this one is, another remake we're talking about. We talked about the Idle Hands remake. I think this one, a late 2025 theatrical release. Okay, so I think this one is a good idea for a remake. Why the hell not? Why not jump back in and, it's been 40 years, so it'll be the 41st anniversary. So a lot of time has passed. We can, we know these people can put together a good Christmas horror film. I don't think they need to go as far as Terrifier goes, because I think what's cool about Terrifier is that it sets itself apart by being that way. But who are we kidding? I wouldn't be surprised if it's really damn close to what Terrifier does. hopefully it finds a way to stand out from it. As far as the gore goes, and maybe they get even more creative than they did in Terrifier 3, which would be something else for sure. But what do you guys think about this remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night? I'm interested to know what you all have to say here. You guys with your PD. I still don't know what it means. I still don't know. Let's see what else we got going on. Where are we? Foz, I have not seen that one. I have not seen Silent Night. So that one was, I didn't know if that was an actual remake of the original film, or if it was just using part of the title. I figured if it was a remake, they would just use the full on title. I'm not sure. I think Silent Night, Deadly Night remake could be cool. Yeah. Cody driving in nothing but a banana hammock. Well, at least now we know what that cab smells like. If they reboot it and modernize the original, it will be watchable. Silent Night 3 through 5 are abysmal. The guy who directed the Wrong Turn remake is directing it. Okay. So that could be good. Oh my God, baby carrot hammock. Good God, y'all. Medley Man says Silent Night 5 was unironically the best one, except maybe the remake. Okay, so this one was remade. I guess I just didn't know if it was a tried and true remake. I had not seen that one. So yeah, I guess I'll have to catch up. Because that one isn't from that long ago, is it? Really? I mean, when did that? Because I feel like that one's what, 10 years old, maybe? Let's see here. Silent Night. Let's see what we got. 2012. Okay. So it's been a while. And then there was that movie Silent Night that came out last year with Joel Kinnaman about like the guy that can't talk or whatever. The John Wick, but he doesn't speak. Mute John Wick. Wasn't Terrifier 3 basically a Silent Night, Deadly Night remake? Kind of, yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't watch a Terrifier review. I haven't seen it yet. There you go. I have to watch all the Terrifier kills before I can watch it. I wait for that. So you watch all of the so you just watch the kills, Leanna? You don't watch the movie? You just do a little mixtape, little kill mixtape? Let's see here. Late November 2025. Yeah, that's what I figured they would do. Yeah, 2012. There you go. I'm behind the curve on the chat here. Let's see here. Up for a remake or a reboot. Yeah. Police Department, Davey. Okay. Thank you for the PD. Like the Wrong Turn remake, so I'm okay with it. And I think like the big thing, like when I look at, I'm like, who's involved, right? So Bloody Disgusting seems like they've got a pretty good track record, right? And then, yeah, you bring in the guy that did the Wrong Turn remake and VHS, he did one of the segments in VHS 85. I'm not sure which one, but I think it's really awesome that you have executive producers from the original film. Like, I think that is pretty big. And I think that bringing in the Terrifier 3 people bodes well. That means that like they've already got a good track record, so they're going to want to ensure that their names look good going forward. So they're going to want this to be a success in a really big way. Yeah. Oh, Leanna says I watch the kills first, so I know it's going to happen, so I'm not shocked. Yeah, everyone dies in those movies. I will say this without doing too much of a remake or a review right now. I was surprised that there was some off camera stuff that they find a way to work in. I thought that they found a good way there was a really good mix on the kills in Terrifier 3. And basically, well, yeah, it seems like this definitely seems like this series of movies is building to, I mean, it's heavily leaning on like, Christian, Judeo-Christian like imagery. And, for the folks that don't practice, Judaism or Christianity, it's got the mythos, the mythology of those religions heavily influenced here. So I'm curious to see where things go in the next one because, they, you know, after Terrifier 2 and then after this one, especially after this one, there are some big questions that will have to be answered um and this thing could get epic. Like Terrifier 4 could be pretty wild. All right, Raymond, I'll think about doing it. I will think about doing it. I have not started watching The Wire yet, Medley Man. I'm so sorry. No worries, Jordan. I don't want you wetting the bed. Please don't wet the bed in the middle of the night. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time around, bud. Cody fell asleep during Terrifier 2. Need to rewatch it all the way through, and then I need to see Terrifier 3. Yeah, I would say, I think Terrifier 3 is probably the best one out of all of them so far. It's not as long as Terrifier 2, which is great. And yeah, I mean, it had some creative kills. I don't know. There's something that I want to say right now, but I think I'm going to wait until my review to say it. So let's see here, guys. We've been going for about an hour and a half. And I feel like, oh, public domain. Thank you so much for clarifying, Raymond. I don't know what it is. I put on these headphones and this hat and I go live and my brain my brain stops working like normal. What's happening, Brett? Great to see ya. Terrifier 3 was you say decent, or it was The Descent, because there is a little bit of a descent element, especially towards the end. Oh, Cody, you liked the first Terrifier a lot. Well, yeah, then I don't know if I don't know what you'll think about Terrifier 3. It to me it didn't seem that long. It cruised by. It's about 20 minutes shorter, I think, than Terrifier 2. So it seemed like a relative breeze, all things considered. And they definitely expand on the lore. So I thought that was the coolest thing about it, but I'll save the rest for my review. And then yeah, let me see if there's any other news. I've got, some stuff pulled up here. And I'm just sort of like, maybe we can hit on a couple of these really quick, and then we can jump into I finally watched it, where I can talk about some of the movies I've recently watched for the very first time. But this one I know will be, very, very interesting to our Death Squad mod, Cody Snyder. We got word on a Pumpkinhead Steelbook 4K UHD in December. Cody, I hope you're not tearing the seams on your banana hammock now, seeing this picture of Lance and seeing this news about Pumpkinhead. But this is exciting for all Pumpkinhead fans. I'm a massive Pumpkinhead fan. To me, it is the movie that I use to usher in the spooky season, mid-September, mid to late September, before I really ramp up on all the horror stuff. It just kind of gets me in the mood for that time of year. It says previously available as a Best Buy exclusive, Scream Factory's Pumpkinhead Steelbook 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray will receive a wide release on December 3rd. Orlando Arocena designed the artwork for the 1988 horror film, which was scanned in 4K from the original camera negative with Dolby Vision HDR. Special effects legend Stan Winston, you know him from Jurassic Park and Terminator 2, made his directorial debut from a script by Mark Patrick Carducci and Gary Garani. Of course, you guys know Lance Henriksen stars with John D'Aquino, Jeff East, Carrie Remsen, and Tom Woodruff Jr. as Pumpkinhead. And yeah, let's take a look at the specs here. This looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. 2023 4K scan of the original camera negative, covered that one. All your standard, audio stuff that you want. Audio commentary with co-writer Gary Girani and Creature FX creators Tom Woodruff Jr. and Alec Gillis. Moderated by filmmaker Scott Spiegel. I love it. Scott Spiegel, who did a little bit of writing with Sam Raimi on the Evil Dead series. He also directed Intruder, which is a really, really fun grocery store slasher. And then, yeah, you'll get on the Blu-ray, you'll get that 4K scan of the original negative, all that fun kind of stuff. You get some more special features, Remembering the Monster Kid, a tribute to Stan Winston. That looks like it'll be really cool. Night of the Demon, an interview with the producer, Richard Weinman. Yeah, this is all really cool stuff. A bunch of, featurettes and, content with the cast and crew. 5-part making of documentary looks pretty awesome as well. Um, alternate title card, Vengeance the Demon. I had no idea. That was the original title of the movie? Oh, I had no idea. Holy cow. This looks pretty cool. I do, steelbooks are pretty dope and all. Did they ever re-release them where they have just like the original artwork on them too? Um, that is a really cool. I like on the inside here, the pumpkin head scratching the forehead. That's cool. It's a cool look. Yeah, I think the steelbook it's cool that they put out new designs and everything like that. I've got a steelbook that Eli had sent me, and I really dig the artwork on that one. It's not the VHS artwork that I remember seeing like as a kid, which I think is just absolutely classic. Um, but it is really cool. But yeah, this is hellish. Like if you have a child in the house, like don't let them near the steelbook. Because that's some scary stuff. That's some big time scary stuff. Let's see what's Cody saying here. Yeah, it looks like they so yeah, Garrett, it looks like they released it, but it was just Best Buy exclusive. Maybe it was, a limited run or something like that. And yeah, just they're going to be bringing it back. They want to give everybody else another crack at getting it. It's really interesting with the physical media stuff because I see it all the time. Like, a movie will be released and then months later they'll do like a steelbook or, it'll be like a Blu-ray drops, or something like that for a movie that hasn't been on new physical media in like decades. And then months later they do a steelbook that's like basically the same thing. They do a lot of this, like, and to me, like to a certain degree, I'm sort of like, you guys they're taking advantage of all of us fans, right? Because there are people that are gonna want every version of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you have the means, like I'm not gonna tell you what the fuck to do with your money. Not my job at all. I know what I can afford to do with my money, and I could never, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I guess I look at it from that perspective of like, it just seems like you guys are taking advantage. Not the collectors. It seems like the producers of the physical media, they know exactly, the kind of fans of the media that we are. And they know that when Trick or Treat gets dropped, there will be people that buy all three. And why the hell not? Because that one people really have been waiting on for a damn long time. But even like a newer movie like Late Night with the Devil has like 4 or 5 different versions out there. It's crazy. It's I mean, Eli got me the Steelbook, which is gorgeous. I ended up getting that Night Owls fan, or the Night Owls fan, whatever it was called, Secret Club bullshit edition. And what's funny is like there are features on the Steelbook that Eli had sent me that aren't on the one that costs like $160 or whatever the hell it was, so it's kind of crazy to me that it's like, oh damn, so you can spend like that much money on a release of a film, and then a secondary release is actually going to have some features that really expensive one didn't have, which is kind of wild to me. But I guess we're just probably going to see that a little bit more, Garrett, because they know they can get away with it. So I don't see them like slowing down, right? If they know, especially if a movie has a cult following, like what we're coming up on, like the 35th anniversary of The Wizard in December, I think. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen something for that, because I've got this kick-ass, like really cool Blu-ray. It's like a double Blu-ray. And it's got super cool, like 8-bit looking art on it, kind of like Mario Brothers 3 looking art. And I think you can swap the art out for like the original if you want, like the VHS art, the poster artwork. But I'm so surprised that we haven't heard about an anniversary for The Wizard coming out. That's one of those. I mean, talk about Born to be Rad. That is one of the raddest movies of my childhood, at least. And so much fun. I think that movie is actually still really, really damn good. Really good today. Kind of like Rain Man, for kids that like to play Nintendo. The steel art is wild. One of the best looking steels. Yeah, it is hardcore. Pumpkinhead is fun. Yes, Brett. Pumpkinhead is amazing. Cody prefers Hatchet to Terrifier. But boom, there's Cody's mind being blown here. Yeah, Cody, if you weren't able to pick that one up, when it came out about a year ago or so, looks like you will get another chance here this upcoming month. Henriksen is Cody's favorite actor. For those needing context, yes, Cody Jamie Hart saw every movie in the theater, and Cody finds a clever way of bringing in Lance Henriksen to the conversation. And if he doesn't, I do. Let's see here. I just got the Walmart Pumpkinhead Steelbook. I think that I don't know. That might be the one that Eli got me. I really dig that one. I really dig it quite a bit. So I don't think I need to upgrade. But I thought it would be fun to share with you guys because I love that movie, and I know Cody's got a big old raging one for Lance. Love Pumpkinhead, but already have the Blu-ray Steelbook. Might have to pick up the 4K though. There it is. It's worth it for the artwork alone, says Dean. What's happening, Jigsaw? Great to see ya. Thank you so much for kicking it with us here tonight. Hope you are doing well and that November is treating you well thus far. Raymond says, if we're suggesting TV shows, I say watch Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds Evolution is super creepy because it's not bogged down by network. Entire series and Evolution are on Paramount Plus. Cool. I have Paramount Plus, so I can check that out. Sorry, guys. Just need a little bit of a water break. VHS artwork was the bee's knees. Yes. Aaron's cool with options, but he has to really love the movie to double dip. I get you, man. I'm right there with you. I am right there with you. I already have the regular Pumpkinhead 4K, not rebuying for a Steelbook. Yeah, I feel that way about certain movies, like with Thanksgiving. Like maybe I'll get that fancy schmancy version of Thanksgiving at some point, but I bought it right when it came out because I had to have it because I love that movie so much. So when it came out, I had to buy it. And I guess I should have just waited because I will say that I don't know, is it a 4K? Is it Severin that did that one? I don't even know. I'm so bad at memorizing who does those releases. But the Thanksgiving one does look really sweet, and I am totes hella jelly of everyone that has one. I have 6 subs on my channel. That's pretty cool. Kind of makes me want to make content, but it feels cool to get a sub. Dude, Eli, start off, just do shorts or something, right? Just like a minute long or less. Just do a little something. See, you'd be surprised. Every now and then I do a short, not thinking anything of it, and it can pop off in the middle of the night. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, what the hell? And it's so random. The ones where I'm like, ooh, this short's going to be good, Davey. People are going to like this one. No. It's always the one that I'm just like, oh, interesting. The one that I didn't really care about that much. Yeah, they are 100% taking advantage. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wait, that's the artwork on my Steelbook. I'm mixing up my shopping sprees. As far as physical media, VHS tapes are my top priority, and I've been slacking on my collecting lately. I'm ashamed, says Cody. No worries, man. You can always stop in at a Goodwill, pack a whole cart full of VHS, and bolster that collection. There you go. You are more than just a pretty face, Eli. Let's get going. I'm less and less of an obsessive fan that it has to have multiple versions. Yeah. And I think it's like, I totally get it. Like there are content creators out there who have set themselves up in life to be able to really enjoy their hobbies and pour themselves into their hobbies. And I think that's something that should be celebrated when someone has found that level of success. And then also on the other side of that, and some of those people were maybe a little bit of a Venn diagram. Some of those people, it's the content they cover too. So it's like, if you're covering physical media and your channel's doing well and you're in a spot in your life where you can purchase all the, the variety of covers and everything and different versions of the films that come out, then, I totally get it. And I do think that people, like Garrett says, like they're 100% taking advantage. Like people know, but also people love the coverage and they love seeing it. And they love, like, at least I can speak for myself. when I watch channels like Born to Be Rad or Frank's Media and Reviews or Planet CHH, I'm sort of living vicariously through them because I can't have all of those things. I can have some of those things, but I got to pick and choose. And it's still really cool to, see the passion, hear people voice that positivity, see everyone get pumped up in the chat. And of course, like check out the special features and see somebody sort of do like an unboxing of it. Like, I kind of like that stuff. I like it. The Scream Factory Wizard Blu-ray. Yeah, they should do a collector's edition, and they should announce it here within the next couple of weeks because people might want to pre-order, little Black Friday pre-order, something like that. The Wizard is friggin' great, absolutely. The Pumpkinhead 4K Steelbook is a re-release. Yep. Yeah, re-release on that one just to give people a chance. Just give me a chance. Yeah, Wizard's friggin' awesome. Have they ever released a special Little Monsters? I don't know if they've ever done a special edition Little Monsters quite yet. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Man, that movie, the end of that movie is just pure nightmare fuel. Whew. I'm a Slater fanboy. The Power Glove. It's so bad. Yeah, and Jenny Lewis in The Wizard. Jenny Lewis, anyone? One of the best, musical performers out there that's active today. She's incredible. I mean, Rilo Kiley was a really fun band, and I would argue that her solo efforts have been even better. She was in The Wizard. She was in Troop Beverly Hills. I think she might have been in a couple like commercials and probably another movie or two, but man, and we were talking earlier about, ladies that are getting up there in age, but aging gracefully and just looking absolutely magnifique. Damn, Jenny Lewis is hot. Still so hot. Garrett says, I love The Wizard. I did a full vid on it and all the product placement in that damn movie. Oh, yeah, there's quite a bit. Yeah, I could not get enough of that movie when I was a kid. And that movie just makes me smile. Yeah, Christian Slater, Beau Bridges. You got the guy from Christmas Vacation, who's Clark's friend. He was also one of the dads in the adulterous dad in Freaks and Geeks. I'm struggling to remember the actor's name, but I think what's really cool about The Wizard is, yes, for kids, it is this video game product placement, right? But then there is this like really like that movie is way better than it has any right to be as far as like a complex story about a family with a lot of heart and handling like some really heavy topics in a delicate way. And then you've got the guy like yelling at the event at Universal Studios. So yeah, the dynamics are all they're all there. And Jamie saw Pumpkinhead in the theater. Jeez. There you go. I don't know. Is Brooke still here? Brooke, you still there? Where you at, Brooke? Raymond says, usually if I get a copy of a movie I already have, I usually give the old copy to somebody. I have 3 movies that I have a DVD and a Blu-ray, but 2 of them were by accident. Yeah, I'm curious to know, like, because Eli has sent me some movies that are still wrapped. And I'm like, does he buy a couple? And then he's just sort of, waits to be inspired to gift a movie to somebody. Because yeah, I felt like bad. I feel bad unwrapping these steelbooks. I'm like these limited edition steelbooks, and I'm unwrapping them. Like, oh no, am I breaking a rule? But I've been one of those guys. I like to play with my toys, not keep them in packaging forever. No worries, Paula. No worries at all. Welcome to the chat. Hope you are having a good week so far. Vestron did a little monster slip and steal. It's nice, says Garrett. We need Garrett. Garrett just in the chat all the time for any questions relating to physical media, and Garrett can just, there you go, nip that one. What's happening, Coy? Great to see you, my guy. Hope you are doing well so far this week. Rilo Kiley, Wires and Waves, Portions for Foxes. So good. Yeah, Portions for Foxes. She is exceptionally sexy on that song. The performance and the lyrics. There's something I love the honesty in Jenny Lewis's lyrics. She's just or I guess maybe it's just perceived honesty. I don't know if she could be making it all up for all I can tell. But I love her lyrics, and yeah, I don't listen to a lot of music that has just like kind of like a chill rock and roll kind of vibe, but something about, the way she writes and the way her records are produced, I really, really enjoy those. Oh yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Let's jump into let's see. Send me an angel. Now it's gonna be stuck in my head, everybody. Yeah, let's see here. One more thing that I wanted to cover, just because I am a cheesy nerd for this, is there is a new documentary on the Twilight Zone creator Rod Serling in the works. So I just wanted to take a look at this with you guys. I don't know if you guys are big Twilight Zone fans. I brought it up a few times here, especially lately, because Eli sent me the entire Twilight Zone series on DVD. It's incredible. It's this massive, the case is like that big. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And Rod Serling was just such a badass, a really interesting guy. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he wrote most of the episodes for the Twilight Zone. And he spent a lot of time fighting with the networks because he wanted to do, he has episodes with like anti-war sentiment and stuff like that. And at the time, that was pretty, punk rock, because most of the country was sort of behind that kind of activity, way back in the black and white days. So he wanted to sort of shine a light on, on what was going on in his head as a veteran, and how he felt about the way that we dealt with war, and the things that the men that go and fight wars, and now men and women that go to fight wars, like what they dealt with. So I'm really interested to see, what this really dives into. It says Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way is set to produce an authorized biography documentary on the life of the Twilight Zone creator Rod Serling. The Serling doc, currently untitled, will be directed by GameStop Rise of the Players filmmaker Jonah Tullis. IndieWire reports that that Serling's daughters, Jody and Anne, have given the project their full blessing and come aboard as executive producers. That's really good news. You want to have the family involved, because you're probably going to get the best kind of product, and at least they can, help be there to push it along and make sure that things are accurate. The documentary will explore how Serling's writing helped change television forever. The film will look at Serling's humble beginnings in television and how he later used his platform to affect change both on and off screen, including his battles with censors and how he grappled with thought-provoking issues of racism, war, the dangers of technology, and morality via the genre-bending sci-fi parables. Yeah, that sort of sums up what I was just saying, but in a far more eloquent way. Yeah, I think I'm glad that that's what they're focusing on. I wanted to read this with you guys, so I didn't read this ahead of time or anything. I'm pumped that that's what the focus is going to be on, because I think that's, you can go and watch the show if you want to know about the show. I think one of the more fascinating things about the Twilight Zone, particularly for the time that it was created and the time that it was originally running, is that like this guy was a punk rocker. Like this guy was tried and true. And, he didn't want to be the host of the show. I think he wanted Orson Welles to host the show, and he ended up hosting it because no one else would. So it's wild to me, like, to think of that happening now, where someone's like, well, I'm going to write a TV show. And then all of a sudden they're like, now they're the host, and they've got this awesome, like, slicked combed hair, and you're smoking cigarettes in your cool suit. And he's got that really interesting cadence where he's like, welcome to a place and time. Like, it's just interesting, like, I don't know, staccato kind of way of talking that just sort of draws you in. I don't think anyone does it better than Rod Serling. There's been multiple remakes of the Twilight Zone. There's been other shows that are very similar. What he did with the Twilight Zone, and then later what he did with Night Gallery. I would say I just don't think anyone can host a show, an anthology show, quite like him. The article goes on to say Serling had a way with words, and the documentary is expected to lean into archival footage, to give the host, creator, narrator, writer, and political activist a voice in the doc. The screenwriter and television producer is best known for his defining television work, most notably on the genre-bending anthology series The Twilight Zone, providing fertile ground for exploration in documentary format. Yeah, this is I don't watch a lot of documentaries, guys. I'm pretty bad at it. Maybe I should watch more of them. But like an or a biographical, is that the way to say the word? A biographical documentary is much more interesting to me than just like a documentary about like something or a political thing or whatever. I like learning about learning more about the people behind the, creation. And so this is something that just caught my eye. Just look at that guy. He's the coolest motherfucker ever. Look at him. If you guys don't watch The Twilight Zone, or you've never watched an episode, or maybe you've only seen a couple like when you're a kid or something like that, I highly recommend looking up a list of like top Twilight Zone episodes and checking those out. My favorite, I think it's called The Mask. That episode is so, I mean, you guys know that I love Tales from the Crypt, and I think some of the better aspects that those stories, the EC comics and Twilight Zone have in common are those like tales of morality and the comeuppance and people getting their just desserts and all that kind of stuff. And The Masks is incredible. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's man, probably my favorite episode, but there are so many good ones. And yeah, not only did Rod Serling write most of them, but Richard Matheson wrote a shitload of those. I think even who else was it? There's another big writer whose name is just slipping me right now. Let me see here. Richard Matheson, George Clayton Johnson. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? I feel like there's another one that's just skipping me right now, but maybe it really was just Richard Matheson, who you guys know. He wrote I Am Legend. He also wrote Stir of Echoes way back when. So, they made a movie in the 90s with Kevin Bacon of Stir of Echoes, and they changed a few things in there. But the book was written in like the 50s or 60s or something like that. It's kind of wild. Pat, that Halloween movie collector, says my favorite episode is To Serve Man. Is that Richard Keel in that one, Pat? By the way, you guys should go check out Pat's channel. If you haven't yet, go check out Pat, that Halloween movie collector. I'm not sure if Garrett's still in here, but every time he pops in, I usually give him a little plug as well. I'd imagine you guys are all subbed over there at Born to Be Rad, but if you love physical media, you love nostalgia, you love positivity, you got to go check out Born to Be Rad as well. So make sure you do that. Yeah, To Serve Man is the total classic. I'm trying to think. I can't remember like every, all the titles slip me. There's something about The Masks. It's just, it's one of my favorites. I love, like, is it called like The Monsters Are on Maple Street or something like that? Oh, that's a really, really good one. I just, Walking Distance. There's so many. There's so, like, especially in the first couple seasons. I mean, so many classic episodes. Absolutely. Let's see here. Have you seen the newer Twilight Zone TV show? It was canceled after 2 seasons. No, I have not. I wasn't very interested in watching that. I don't know. I guess I'd rather just watch the original. I don't want to see, like, when it's something like the Twilight Zone, I've never been interested in any of the reboots. I actually watched a video on YouTube the other day. There's been, like, I didn't know this. Not only, of course, everyone knows about the Twilight Zone movie that came out in the 80s, and they had that huge tragedy with Vic Morrow and the 2 child actors that passed away in the helicopter accident. But even after that, they did a reboot TV show, and then they did another reboot TV show in like the early 2000s, and they did like a radio show as well. To me, it's sort of like, once Rod is out of it, like there's like 6 seasons of the original Twilight Zone. That's all I need. I don't need to go back for anything else. And something about, like, I don't know. Jordan Peele, I just don't know. I'm not convinced. I know it sounds wild. I love his comedy. Like I absolutely love the comedy that he does. But I've read some interviews with that guy, and some of the things that he says really rub me the wrong way. So I'm just sort of put off, I guess, you know. But I don't know. I haven't watched any Twilight Zone remake. I probably never will. I'll just go back to the originals all the time. Ooh, Game of Pool. That's really damn good. Yes. Is that the one that has who's the is it Jonathan Winters? Is he in that one, Leanna? I maybe I'm confusing it with another one where Jonathan, because right, a Game of Pool is where he basically is playing with like death, right? It's something like that. And shout out to Jack Klugman from the Odd Couple TV show, of course. Classic. Antona says, "Hey Davey, I watched a first time horror movie last night called Home Sweet Home. Have you seen it before?" No, I haven't even heard of it, Antonis. What was it like and where can I watch it? Ooh, my favorite author? That's a good question. I don't read very much, Paula. It puts me to sleep, unfortunately. I know that's terrible to say. I'm looking at my books though. Well, if Harvey Pekar counts as an author, he did the American Splendor comics. He did write them, and he didn't draw any of them. So I guess by definition, he really is the author. He's a favorite of mine. I really like, if we're talking like classics, I love Robert Louis Stevenson. I really like, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a really awesome old school horror book. And what else did he do? He did he did Robinson Crusoe, right? Didn't he do that one as well? And he wrote a bunch of poetry. He wrote this poem called My Shadow, which is one of my favorites. I memorized it when I was in 5th grade, and I think I still know like most of it right now, which is wild. But I really dig that one. But yeah, I'm not the biggest, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at reading. I mean, I can read. It just makes me so sleepy. It's like Halloween 5, just puts me to sleep. I think Rod Serling was from around here in upstate New York area. Not sure though. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Jamie says, "Don't forget to smack that like, subscribe to the channel, join to the Death Squad for member content. And if you're watching on replay, leave a comment or a chcomment, like I like to say. Home Sweet Home from 1981. Yeah, I don't know. I got to check that out, Antonis. It's a Thanksgiving horror movie. Okay. And watched it on YouTube. Okay, cool. I'll have to check it out. Did you like it? Let me know if you liked it. Ooh, and hey guys, this is perfect. Check out Pat's channel. Check out that vid. I did my top 30 Twilight Zone episodes on my channel a few years ago, says Pat. Yeah, you guys are going to want to go check out his channel. Give him a sub. Watch some of his vids and see what he's got. See what he's got. Okay, guys, I think we're all caught up on news. And so we're going to do, there we go. I'm out of there. I'm just talking to myself about what I'm doing on the computer. Don't worry about it. So yeah, let's get into a little bit of I finally watched it. How about it? Let's see here. I think this is where I want to go. Oh, look at that. Changed so dramatically, huh? So yeah, guys, I watched, what do we got? 5 movies here that I just watched for the first time. Well, one of them is technically a second time watch, but it's the first time I've ever really paid attention to it. And that one is Demons, Mario or Lamberto Bava. I almost said Mario Bava, different Bava. Lamberto Bava's Demons from 1985. This one, I mean, of all the Evil Dead like remakes that I've seen, this one's really damn fun. So yeah, technically wasn't my first time, because if you guys remember, or if you're new to the channel and you go to the live tab, you can see that I did a watch party for this one. It was a first time watch. I figured it would be fun to try that kind of thing out. Eli had sent me this giant stack of movies, and I was like, oh, this Demons one just got like a re-release that everyone's been talking about. I want to, check this movie out. I've heard a whole bunch about it. So, but I finally, I sat down and watched it last night, and man, this one is really fun. I love the practical effects. In particular, a couple things that really stuck out to me when like the demon teeth are coming through on the second girl that gets infected, and they're like pushing out her normal teeth. I swear I've had like nightmares like that before. So it's like that is so real. Like it's those things that like really like even worse. Like to me, that's worse than the stuff in Terrifier 3. Teeth getting like pushed out by other more gnarly teeth. Um, I love the like the pimp character. I don't know if he's really a pimp or he's just like such a cool dude that he has two girlfriends. You get kind of the idea he's like the world's nicest pimp. I mean, at least he treats his ladies like they're his ladies. Like he kind of reminds me there's like this vibe in Demons that I'm like, oh, so Demons has a little bit of this Evil Dead thing kind of going on, but then there's movies like From Dusk Till Dawn that seem to take a little bit from Demons, like when everyone's sort of gathering around and fortifying the place, and characters that you're getting to know are also starting to get picked off and becoming, part of the group of the demons that are attacking everyone else. Really, really fun stuff. Like an easy movie to watch. The punk rockers with their Coke can full of cocaine. To me, I thought that was a pretty cute joke. Really enjoyed that one. And I do gotta say, our guy Urbano Barberini. So he plays George in this movie, and I know him from a movie called Outlaw of Gore. Or I guess it's just called Gore. Or maybe it's Gore too. So he's in there. They're like fantasy sci-fi movies that are also sword and sandal movies, and they're based on books. And he plays Tarl Cabot, which is like the hero of the film. And I've seen one of them. It was on Mystery Science Theater. I think season 5 or 6. Mike. It's an early Mike episode, and yeah, he like in the one that I've seen, he's this hero from medieval times, but he exists in our time, and he has like a magic ring that glows when like they need him and sends him back in time. And he goes back in time with his friend who's like a chubby, unfunny Rick Moranis. It's a really bad movie, but it has Jack Palance in it, and it's bad, but it's like it's not poorly made. That's the thing. And here I am seeing that I had no idea he's in Casino Royale. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, Urbano Barberini, love him so much. What does Leanna think about Urbano Barberini? What do you think about that guy? You like the Italian guys, right? So yeah, Demons jumped back into that one, and finally sat down and gave it all of my attention. Let's see here. Speaking of Jack Klugman, Happy the Odd Couple Day, November 13th. I had no idea. What makes it the Odd Couple Day? Is it the day that Felix got kicked out? Let's see here. Oh, Eli says, been showing my little ones Rocky and Bullwinkle. Forgot how funny that cartoon is. That cartoon's friggin' awesome. I watched that on Nickelodeon as a kid. One of my favorites growing up. Let's see here. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jamie. You guys can click on that link. Raymond, I got the Dawn of the Dead hat at a convention here. I think I've mentioned them before. Let me see if I can find them on Instagram. I'm trying to think of the name. Is it? Oh man, I can't think of. I'm trying to think of the name of the business, but it's a small business that is ran out of I believe out of the Phoenix area. Dang it. I'm struggling to think of what they are called right now. But yeah, I would say go to a horror convention, and there's going to be a booth that's got a bunch of really kick-ass hats like this. It's really nice, and it hasn't like faded or anything. They've got one that's they have one for Brain Dead. I I really wish they had one that said Dead Alive, because like I know that Brain Dead is the real name of the movie everywhere else, but I've always known it as Dead Alive. So I would love a hat that said, the drippy blood Dead Alive letters would be amazing. So yeah, I got this one, and then I got the Halloween one that I usually wear. I got that from those folks. God, gosh, I just can't think of it right now. Maybe it'll come to me. Yeah, Demons is really fun. I bet the 4K is really nice. The music is great in the movie. I love the green color of like the foam coming out of the mouths and everything. And even I'll say this, Frank, like the Blu-ray copy that I have, it looks really good. Like if you told me it was from 1985, it looks so much better. Like there's some scenes in that movie where I'm like, this looks like a modern film. Like it looks like the way that, Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3 were filmed. Like it has that modern look, but it's like they're using real film, but it's very clean. Yeah, I love the creature effects and the makeup and everything. I think, the movie's not like too long, but I feel like there are a couple spots in Demons where it starts to feel like, oh, maybe we need another couple characters or something like that just to keep it going. Once George gets on like the motorcycle, it seems like, oh crap, here we are. We're kind of at the end of the movie, and it just sort of happened. I would have liked to have seen him like get on the motorcycle and F up some zombies on the way, or demons on the way to saving his gal. But yeah, really, really fun movie. Raymond likes Demons 1 better than 2. I still haven't seen the sequel, so I'll have to check that one out. Have to check it out. Cody says, Davey, you seem like you'd be a trauma guy. I've watched some of them. I like them okay. Depends on the movie. Like Redneck Zombies is horrible, right? It's like almost unwatchable, but Toxic Avenger, like that first Toxic Avenger movie is kind of fun. There's got to be a Surf Nazis Must Die. Like that movie's pretty fun. Trying to think if there's another trauma movie that I've seen that I really liked. Not a big Tromeo and Juliet guy. It's wild to think that James Gunn wrote that movie and now he's doing all the DC movies. It's friggin' incredible. But yeah, I don't know. Are there some others that I'm missing out on that I should check out? Okay, there it is. All right, so we are on Odd Couple Day, everybody. Boom. Raymond says, I love that you know the Mystery Science Theater episodes by who hosted. Oh yeah, I'm out of all the things I'm nerdy about, guys, if I could have just a Mystery Science Theater like nerd channel, and if that could be viable, I would do that, because that's like my reference point for so many things. I'm like, oh, that actor was in this episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like, oh, Joe Don Baker. Oh, I only think about Joe Don Baker. The only thing he is to me is Mitchell. And then he's in a movie called Final Justice in like the second to last season on the original run. Yeah, love Mystery Science Theater 3000. Terror Firmer. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. Rabid Grannies, Dead Dudes in the House. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Rabid Grannies. I guess I gotta watch Leanna, Rabid Grannies. I'm listening. Yeah, I gotta try out maybe check out a trailer of Rabid Grannies and see what's up. Some of them though are like Trauma. It's like Trauma released them, but a bunch of idiots filmed them on like a camcorder. Like I'm pretty sure Redneck Zombies like wasn't shot on a real, like a professional camera. And let's see here, what else do we got? That Demon set I sent you as a 4K transfer on the Blu-ray. So yeah, I mean, it looks great. I don't even know, like I have a 4K TV, but I don't have a 4K player yet. So all my 4Ks are just sitting there looking at me like, what are you doing, Davey? Why don't you take advantage? And I'm saying to them, guys, for me, Blu-ray's good enough. At least for now. English Golden Girls possessed by demonic forces. All right. Sounds like a winner. Sounds like a winner. Holy cow. Frank's Media and Reviews dropping the 199 super chat. Says, just wanted to say, keep up the great content. Thank you so much, Frank. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the 199. The super chats and the channel memberships go to paying some bills here at the Death Ray household. So every single one of those is so much appreciated. Thank you. Guys, go check out Frank's channel. You do not want to miss it. He's really ramped up the content here. If you're a fan of physical media, don't miss out. Raymond says, I used to watch those MST3Ks a lot. Dude, I used to fall asleep to them for years. I would put them on. And I know I've said this before on the channel, but when I was in like 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, like right after we got Comedy Central in Alaska, I would set up, they would play Mystery Science Theater from 1 to 3 in the morning, and I would set the VCR up to record an episode Monday through Friday. And then I'd, come home from work in the winter time. I'd make myself some hot chocolate. I'd fix up a bag of popcorn before I got to any of my homework. And I'd sit down and I'd watch that episode of Mystery Science Theater that I had taped the night before. Yeah, huge nerd for that. So let's go ahead and move on to, I was hoping that Gavin would be here tonight. Maybe he can catch it on the replay. But I finally watched Blood and Black Lace from 1964. Holy cow. And this one is Mario Bava. So from Lamberto Bava to Mario Bava. This one was, let's see here. Was this one produced by, let's see here. I wonder, was this one produced by Argento as well, or is this before his producing days? It must be. But yeah, this one's wild. I mean, Cameron Mitchell, who Mystery Science Theater 3000, he's in one of the best episodes ever called Space Mutiny. He's the one that plays the Santa-looking character, the captain of the ship, or the admiral, whatever you want to call him. So definitely recognize him. I don't recognize the other actors. Most of them are Italian. It is an Italian film, obvi. But yeah, this one, man, 1964. That's old school, right? And what's really cool about this movie, a couple things stand out to me. One of them is the opening. I love the opening, like this stage play kind of thing where the camera is showing each player in, each actor with their name, and there's like really interesting lighting setup, like a red light, a green light, a blue light, like this really strong lighting. And they're all, some of them are just like looking ahead and don't do anything. Some of them are like looking away and then look at the camera. There's this whole, like, you just know without knowing that the movie's going to be a whodunit, you can tell by the opening, oh, they're making us like sort of want to, like, we want to not trust these characters. Everyone's up to something, like who's playing what angle, how many people are wrapped up into this. And yeah, I don't want to give anything away for anyone that hasn't seen Blood and Black Lace. I think I saw it on Shudder, if I remember correctly. It was really good. And it kind of plays, it's interesting. It's got, it's an older movie. So 1964 slasher movie that feels like it's got some very soap opera elements for sure. Both in like some of the music, some of the acting, just a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more over the top. But a very easy watch, a satisfying ending. I really I thought the killer had a good look to it. Kind of reminded me of the way they made Madonna look in the Dick Tracy movie when she wore like the blank outfit. Kind of, the blank outfit is very reminiscent of the killer in Blood and Black Lace. And yeah, I think this is a movie that, like, honestly, if you want to remake a movie like a classic slasher, I think you could do a remake of Blood and Black Lace and do a really good job of it. You can tell a very similar story and don't have to remake this film. But if they wanted to bring back a movie that sort of, may have been a bit forgotten by a lot of horror fans, I think Blood and Black Lace would be excellent for that. And yeah, I mean, it's very, very entertaining. And that opening, I had to like watch it a second time. I like rewound it and watched the opening, and I was like, this is like something Tarantino would do. Like, this is just that, like, it's so stylized, and it's the kind of style that like really fits my tastes. So yeah, I enjoyed Blood and Black Lace, and would probably check it out again. And wouldn't be against owning a copy as well, for sure. Leanna says MST3K used to come on after SNL in the 90s. Yeah, they used to run like that Mystery Science Theater hour that was like, you would get half of an episode one night and the other half the next night. And that was like syndicated to a bunch of channels. And then, yeah, Comedy Central. And then I'd imagine after it left Comedy Central and it went to Sci-Fi, that, yeah, it was syndicated from there on out. But yeah, I remember, you know, when it was just on Comedy Central, they did, you know, very first Mystery Science Theater episode I ever saw was Colossus and the Headhunters. I think that's season, it's like episode 522 or something like that. It's one of the earlier Mike episodes. Love that episode tons. That was I just stumbled upon it and fell in love. It was love at first watch. And that summer they did like a countdown of all the episodes where people voted like which ones were their favorites. So I was able to have a VHS tape that had like 5 or 6 episodes each on each VHS that I had, and they were jumbled. So like some of them were Joel, some of them were Mike, but it was like they were all so good. These episodes were amazing because you would get like Master Ninja 2 and then San Francisco International and then like Side Hackers and Monster a Go-Go and The Day the Earth Froze. Like I had all of those, and I know this means nothing if you're not a big Misty, but like those are all banger episodes, you know, all on one VHS. So it was amazing. It's funny, like, you know, when you're a horror fan and people try to surprise you with the whole like you know that Michael Myers mask, you know who that, like, it's really William Shatner's face. And you're like, I just told you I'm a huge Halloween fan, and you're telling me like the most like obvious trivia on Halloween. And people with Mystery Science Theater, there's a little bit of that. I don't want to be a gatekeeper or a son of a bitch or anything like that. But there are people that are like, oh, I love, what's the one that everyone said? Oh, Manos, the Hands of Fate. And I'm just like, get out of here. Like, Manos is a good episode. It's a really funny episode, but like, it sounds like that's the only one that you know of, you know, because it's like one of the more popular episodes. Like, come on now. Have you seen, like, have you checked out San Francisco International? Have you seen Side Hackers? Have you watched Outlaw? What's the one with Kathy Ireland? Oh my gosh, I'm having a total brain fart right now. Anyways, there's tons of great episodes. And it's funny to me that people just bring up Manos, The Hands of Fate, which is quite possibly the worst movie ever made. You know, would give Ed Wood a run for his money for sure. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, we got Slasher Fred hanging out. The classic comedy Arsenic and Old Lace is a sort of a bit of a slasher movie. Oh, I have never even heard of that one. Huh. Yeah, Slasher Fred knows what's up. Slasher Fred drops the trivia. Like it's amazing. I love the folks that come into the chat and hang out and drop the trivia. MST3K also had a run on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yep. Yeah, it finished out its original run. So it was seasons 8, 9, and 10 were on Sci-Fi. Yeah. There are some DVDs that the Mystery Science Theater video commentary style, like the 99 original Ghostbuster DVD and also the Men in Black. Like they put their commentaries on there. You know, because I know they did riff tracks and everything where you can match it up. I watched like the first Twilight with riff tracks. I watched what's that movie with Britney Spears? Britney Spears and Dan Aykroyd plays her dad for some reason. What is that movie? And then the Mariah Carey movie Glitter. I've seen that with the riff tracks commentary. All sorts of good stuff. Let's see here. What do we got? What do Crossroads? Thank you so much, Jamie. Yeah, Crossroads is so bad. So bad, it's good. Oh, and NBC after SNL in the early 90s. Okay. That's too cool. Yeah, that's most people, Leanna, have the story that most people have. It's either, oh, I was flipping around on the channel late at night one time and I found this show and it just started making me laugh. I was like, what the hell is this? Or they're like, yeah, I grew up watching Mystery Science Theater with my dad. That's most people that I've met that know what the show is. I still meet plenty of people that are like, what? And I was like, you know, the show with the theater seats and the guy and they're watching the bad movies and Paula, I enjoyed the first season, the second season, not that much. But I've told to go back because it gets better from the third season on. So I should go give it another shot. Yeah, Glitter is not good, Paula. But it's funny when the Mystery Science Theater guys are making fun of it. Yeah, Slasher Fred, that is coming up soon. One of my best friends wore a Crow T Robot t-shirt for his school picture in 1994. I love that. Do you guys know what the T stands for in Crow T Robot? There it is, Eli. Thank you so much. Alien from LA is so, oh my God. Kathy Ireland's so bad in it. That's a really fun episode. Yeah, Blu-ray. Pretty much all of them are on YouTube. Yeah, you can find them all on YouTube. There are multiple channels that just constantly stream live. Like you can just click on a live in the middle of an episode, or you can look up an episode if you'd like to. I think there's probably close to like 250 episodes of the show out there. The T in Crow T Robot stands for the Crow the Robot, and it originally Crow was an acronym, CROW, and the W stood for woman. So originally, when they were on KTMA in Hopkins, Minnesota, before they got picked up by Comedy Central, there was, they didn't know if Crow was going to be a lady bot or a dude bot. He ended up being a dude bot. Let's see here. What else do we got? So Blood and Black Lace, highly recommend it. Had a really great time with that one. Kate even watched it with me. How cool. And then I recently watched Chopping Mall with B. Cramps, our little Barbara Crampton, one of my favorite horror actresses of all time. Finally watched this one. And, this movie is really fun and really easy to watch. It's also got the guy that played Alan in Head of the Class, which is one of my favorite sitcoms from the 80s. I love that show. Even though that creepy guy from Nickelodeon was in the show as an actor. It's a massive ensemble cast. It's a really great show. Heartwarming and hilarious. And, Chopping Mall, really fun, really quick. 82 minutes, something like that. 80 minutes. It's like get in, get out, tons of boobs, a little bit of blood, whole lot of fun. What's his face? The tall man from Phantasm has a very quick blink and you miss it cameo where he asks a question about the robots at the beginning of the episode. Andy from Child's Play, his foster father from Child's Play 2 is in this movie and gets killed by a robot. Excellent stuff. And it's odd. The robots in Chopping Mall, they just turn bad just because of lightning. There's nothing. I feel like, maybe there could have been something else. Maybe they could have fleshed that out just a touch more. Because, yeah, I mean, you've got a group of early 20-somethings planning to stay after hours in the mall and bang in front of each other is pretty much what their plan is, which is odd. And, I mean, no judgment here for anyone that does that. I was never into doing that kind of activity with my friends around, but I guess these folks just want to hang out in the furniture store and get it on. And of course, they start dying. There's the one guy from, let me bring it up here. I'm going to bring up Chopping Mall because the one actor from Deathstalker 2 who plays the Deathstalker character. It's interesting. In all the Deathstalker movies, a different guy plays Deathstalker. This guy is the dude in Chopping Mall that cannot stop chewing gum and smiling. It is all he wants to do. And his name, is it John Terlesky? Is that who it is? Yep, John Terlesky, who ended up being, Deathstalker 2, Duel of the Titans. That's what I know him from. He is a TV director now. NCIS Origins, Quantum Leap, The Blacklist. He did 11 episodes of The Blacklist. All sorts of stuff. Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, The Equalizer TV show. This guy, it's really cool to see somebody that was an actor that found, another thing that they could do really well in the industry, in show business. Chopping Mall was really fun. I don't have too much to say about it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again unless I'm doing like a watch party just for fun, because it's so surface level that it didn't really make me feel like, ooh, I need to come back and get some more depth on this one. Yes, Angus Scrim, thank you so much. And here we are. We're at about 2.5 hours, so I'm going to kind of cruise through these other ones, guys. Recently watched Labyrinth for the very first time. Holy crap, this movie is really damn good. Very charming. I can't believe it didn't do well here in the States when it came out. I think it did well globally, but I was reading about it and it seemed like it really crushed Jim Henson's confidence as a director. I think it was the last movie that he directed, but the creativity on display. I love the lessons that it teaches you lessons without hitting you over the head with it. It's done in a very, I mean, obviously the similarities with something like Wizard of Oz are very, prominent for sure. And yeah, I mean, this movie teaches you about friendship and about not taking things for granted and, trusting yourself, but learning from your mistakes and never letting go of your childlike wonderment and your imagination, even though you're going to move on in a time in your life where other things need to like take over, to still try to find that time where you can jump back in. I love this movie. I honestly like the worst part of the movie are the silly songs, and the songs are just silly. There's nothing offensively bad about them or anything like that. David Bowie's like really charming as the Goblin King. It's odd that he is like so in love with her, but also I guess the funny thing is like it seemed like he was really happy having a human baby around. Like, oh, this is great. I love having a baby. So why do you want to turn him into a goblin? And also, why aren't you a goblin if you're the Goblin King? And seems like the goblins got kind of a chill life. Like they just like hang out and party all day. Maybe not too fulfilling, but it looks like a lot of fun for sure. Yeah. Yeah, mall orgy, baby. Let's go. Exactly. Not weird at all for the couple that isn't doing it. That's true. Russell Todd from Friday the 13th Part 2. Yeah, he's the guy that looks like Jacob Dylan from the Wallflowers, right? He's the slingshot dude. Yeah. The original Ghoulies had starred a very young Mariska Hargitay, who's known for playing detective on Law and Order SVU. Yeah, I have not seen Ghoulies. I need to check those movies out. I definitely need to check those out. I got Shag on DVD. Love that movie. Never seen that one, Paula, but I've heard so much about it. When I was in high school, some of the ladies that I hung out with were big on Shag the movie. I bet you did, Jamie Hart. Yeah, it's really good. Slasher Fred says, I remember when I first watched Labyrinth, I thought it was a Disney short movie where a lion cub is mistakenly delivered to a mother sheep, but it was actually Lamb, the sheepish lion. Oh, I've never heard of that one. Yeah, well, they put a cup in there. Like he's got like a piece so it doesn't look lumpy, but it certainly still has a bulge to it for sure. But it's a uniform bulge. You know what I mean? Like a nice smooth bulge. Kind of like I don't know, like those old like 80s exercise pants that ladies would wear where it just looked like they had a massive batch, even though they don't have, I mean, they've got something down there, but it's not something protruding. But man, those workout pants in the 80s, they were very batch heavy, very, very batch heavy. And then here we go. The last one on I finally watched it. Let me just push this comment away. There we go. This one is a brand new movie. It's not even out yet, but I watched Black Eyed Susan, which we had talked about the other night when Damien Maffei was on the show. It is a new film of his that I believe Vinegar Syndrome helped produce, and it's been on like a festival circuit. That poster is absolutely incredible. I love how the poster makes it look like it's an Italian giallo movie, from the 70s or something. And yeah, so it's coming out this year, 2024. And the big thing here is it's got, I want to make sure I get the name right. Because it's got the gentleman that wrote the score. So Fabio Frizzi is the guy that did the score for for Fulci's Zombie. He also did, it looks like he worked on Kill Bill Volume 1. He was the composer for The Beyond as well. So, I mean, that's a pretty good pedigree right there. And the movie Black Eyed Susan it's a tough movie. It will challenge you. I have to sneeze here, so one sec. Whew, excuse me. So this movie is, if you guys caught our episode the other week, you know a bit about the plot, right? So I don't want to dive too big into that, but yeah, it basically asks the question of like, is it ethical to create like a robot, an artificial being, for people who are not well mentally, to be able to quench their thirst for their demented habits so they don't go out in the real world and find human victims, is basically like, that's like the overall question the movie is asking, is like, is this okay? Is this ethical? And it has moments. I don't know if you guys have seen Last Tango in Paris. Very similar kind of, moments that could be uncomfortable depending on who you're watching the movie with. I watched it by myself because I knew that this was something that Kate would really not be into. A movie that would be very difficult to watch with your parents, probably. Anyone's parents I wouldn't want to watch it with. But Damien Maffei is really good. So supernatural, not supernatural, very natural in his performance. And it couldn't have been easy, for sure. He really, like we talked about in our interview, he really does bear it all in that movie, in a big way. And the actress that plays, the android bears even more. So it's one of those kinds of movies that like pushes that, pushes the sexual side and the violent side, asks those questions. So there's a little bit of a sci-fi element to it. And I think it's worth a watch. I would say, like, if those elements in movies don't put you off, I would say it's worth a watch. But definitely, it's for the people out there that are more cinephiles, because you've probably seen movies like Last Tango in Paris. You've probably seen movies that have some really uncomfortable scenes, like, a lot of Darren Aronofsky movies have uncomfortable scenes. This is not unlike that. And Damien Maffei, he puts in a great performance. So yeah, that wraps it up for, I finally watched it, and that's probably a good time to just say good night for the evening, because holy cow, here we are at 2.5 hours. You guys have been amazing. It went by so quick. Usually we do 2.5 hours and half of it's with a guest, but this is absolutely flown by here. I just need another sip before I say my goodbyes to everyone. Eli, I see that you are taking off. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, good sir, and we'll talk soon, man. Take care. Okay. All right. Slasher Fred says one of the scariest, classic scariest radio plays is The War of the Worlds, which came out centuries before we had Blair Witch. Well, not centuries, but close, decades for sure. Absolutely decades. Yeah. Yeah, guys, this has been really, really fun. I think, just realize how close we are to Thanksgiving. Well, Home Sweet Home is what Antonis had said he watched. It's on YouTube if you're looking for a Thanksgiving flick. And yeah, guys, let me know in the comments or in the chat if there are any like Thanksgiving horror movies that you recommend. I really only know of, what's the one called? Obviously Thanksgiving, but what's the one with Rage in the title that I keep on seeing pop up everywhere and I've yet to see it? Not Primal Rage. That was a great video game from the 90s. But something Rage. Not Carry to the Rage, but something Rage. Yeah, guys, this has been really fun hanging out with you. We should be back with a regular guest as we usually do for next week's episode. And yeah, keep an eye out on the channel for another Tales from the Crypt. Well, first off, I'm going to have to do a watch along with my channel members of Tales from the Crypt. And then another episode review for season 2, episode 1, Dead Right. There you go, Raymond. Blood Rage. Thank you so much. Yep, that's the one. And then keep an eye out for some Thanksgiving content as far as Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. We are going to do a watch party. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably do that on like a Saturday or something like that, so we can knock that one out. Really appreciate you guys for kicking it here, especially on a solo show. You guys have been amazing. Really good numbers hanging out here in the chat. And of course, the folks that are just kicking it, but not, not participating in the chat, but watching anyways. You're very much appreciated. And if you're watching this after the fact, don't forget to like and leave a comment. Really want to give an extra shout out to the Patreon members and the channel members. And of course, my Death Squad mods, Eli Cortez, Robert the Wolfman, Cody Snyder, and the OG, Jamie Hart. Oh, and Matt Facci was in here earlier, and he is a Death Squad mod as well. You guys are absolutely incredible. I'm going to get some posts and everything going and up on the channel so you guys can see what's coming ahead of time. We are going to get back on a regular schedule here. I swear, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the catch up with you guys about the personal stuff and all that is because I want to be, to me, it's a motivator. It helps hold me accountable. So going to get back on track and get this thing humming once again. So really appreciate you guys for kicking it with me. We will be back here later on this week with the channel members and maybe a little surprise something between now and then. So keep an eye out. And until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.